know that I go flip mode when I bust the rhymes. Man's on a different thing, man, I told him 100 times. I did a bunch of crimes, and none of them were done for the vine. So you can take that bullshit and stick that where the sun don't shine. The summer's up, it's about to get real cold. Late nights in the studio with the bros.
Welcome back to the MBH podcast, Money Buys Happiness. Guys, before we get into it, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, do the duties, comment. We love the comments. You guys have been commenting a lot lately, and we love that, no?
Just hit 70K subs.
Yes. Round of
On
applause.
YouTube,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, woo!
Took so long.
So fucking long, 3 years.
100K next.
We're on route.
If you're listening and not watching though, make sure you drop 5 stars.
Yeah.
Follow the pod.
Spotify, Apple, you know
Spotify,
the deal.
Apple.
And if you are watching, you're seeing something different going on today.
Yep.
We got to our right, my man Brian. Brian, what's up?
How you doing?
Welcome to the pod. Welcome to the fucking
Thanks
pod.
for speaking.
We got 3 people.
That's it. That's all
And on the opposite side of the table, if you are now watching, we have 3 lovely ladies. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
We're first time that we're doing things like this.
Yeah, this is our first time.
So it's new. It's different. I think Dean's a little bit nervous.
He's
lot
nervous.
We're
going
gonna
on.
get past it.
If I only showed you guys the text messages I was getting from these two, how do I talk to them?
Stop
I've never
that.
been in
Now
a room
you're
with this
talking
many
shit.
girls
You're talking
before.
No,
Okay,
but
let's stay on track.
yeah, so okay.
Ladies, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Yes.
Your name, where you're from, and maybe what you do.
Amazing.
Anyone?
Want to start?
Go ahead.
My name is Sky. I'm a creative genius, traveler, originally from Niagara, spent a good amount of time in Toronto, and again, just traveling the world right now.
Dope.
Okay. Right
That's
on.
good.
Right on.
Yeah.
My name is Melissa. I live in Toronto and I'm a corporate girly. So I was in tech sales for a few years and now I'm in consulting for tech for the cloud. Yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay.
I don't even know what that means, really.
Google, right? Google, yeah.
Well, we can, you know.
We'll
We'll
talk
get into
about
it. We'll
that
get into
after,
it. We'll
yeah.
get into it. We'll get into it.
I'm Rachel Campolongo. I'm an entrepreneur of many things, currently focusing on laser hair removal. That's my main focus.
Dope.
Tapping into doing yoga and some women's wellness courses I'd like to teach.
Ooh.
I can tell because we got like some fucking
Crystals.
crystals
Yeah.
here. We got some incense
Incense.
flowing.
We're
Sage
woo-woo
earlier.
girls.
Got it set
so-
up.
So maybe for someone who's watching, explain what we have here and what the benefits are right now to us. Right now, sitting here.
Do you
Well-
not feel calm?
I feel listen, I just want them to feel it too, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have our incense here,
Okay.
and this is why we're all so calm and zen.
How
We
many ti-
actually
how
we
many
got
times
this
a
in
day you do
Bali.
From Bali?
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah,
It's
once
the best.
I do once every morning with meditation, and
Nice.
then it just the aura, my space,
Yeah.
starts off my day nice and calm.
And all these crystals.
Yeah, and then we have a bunch of crystals.
Okay. What are they? What's the? Give me something. What does one of them do? What's the?
So citrine, this one here, this one is for good fortune and
Okay, this is good.
Abundance.
success,
I need that.
abundance. Yeah,
Mhm.
So you just have them
Then we
around
got
and
a
they
rose
just
quartz.
they give you that.
they give me that.
They
Yeah.
give you that.
Yeah.
Like I need some more of these.
I think I heard you say you have some in your bra right
yeah,
now.
I literally have one
No.
in my bra too.
Come on.
what
You
is
gotta
that?
carry them
Is
around.
this carnelian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of those in my bra too.
Sick.
I have carnelian
For the
here.
Me
vibes.
too. Me too. Me too.
For the vibes.
I'm holding one in my bra as well. No, well, listen, I appreciate you guys coming on. Like I said, a little bit different than what we usually do. A little more of a panel vibe because, we tend to, me and Ernesto tend to debate about a lot of different topics, but like we have some comments that are like, all right, you're like 2 douchebags talking about this shit. Like
That's
we need
literally the
some-
comment,
No,
though.
like literally.
No.
So we need some female energy. We want some, we want-
Perspective.
yes, we want to
Yeah.
hear the female perspective because we tend to just obviously speak from our opinion, right? Which
Yeah.
can obviously be biased to a certain extent. I like to believe I'm right all the time, but that's obviously not true.
Us too.
Yes, honestly, same.
Okay, fair.
Well, that's
See?
why we
Should
couldn't
be
just keep
interesting.
thinking we were right the whole time.
No.
We know about everything.
We needed to
Unfortunately. So
tap into some new ideas. So with that being said,
Yep.
we got some topics. We're going to bring some stuff and we'll kind of let it flow. But do you want to kick it off? I know you got some topics in front of you.
do I want to kick it off?
Yeah.
I was gonna kick it off with a piece of news I was reading.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So they now say that money can buy happiness.
Who says that?
Well, Bloomberg posted it, but a lot of big platforms posted it. Obviously, our podcast is Money Buys Happiness. We've kind of been preaching it for a long time. So they came out, they did an article, and they actually said money indeed buys happiness if you make up to $500,000. You could search it up, whoever's watching, whole article. So I know that they said in the past that it was like they actually had a number, right? It was like
70K or something.
after 70K or 80,000, like
Yeah.
you stop being any more happier than you were.
Right.
But now they're going back on that. They're saying, no, actually 500K, you're going to be happy. So I want to know everyone's opinion on this. I want to know about the 500K mark. And I also want to know what amount you think you would have to make to be happy in your life. So I'll start it off.
Okay.
Why not? 500K is not enough for me.
Okay. Why not?
Because I have very big goals, very big dreams. And 500K is unfortunately not going to cover the budget for that.
Okay.
Because you know how we are. We like to invest in businesses. We like to invest in our team, stuff like that. That all requires money, travel. And yeah, I like expensive things, I think.
Okay.
And not materialistically, but like if I'm going to keep going to cold plunge every morning at other ship, I'm going to have to make more than that.
Your life savings.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to say right now in my life to be completely happy and no more happier.
How much a year?
I'm going to say 1.2 a year.
1.2 a
Oh,
year.
you went with the annual.
Interesting.
I went with
Yeah,
annual.
we're going annual
They're
here.
saying annual. They're saying your annual salary.
1.2, not 2, not 1, 1.2.
1.2. I'm thinking 100K a month. I'll be.
Taxes though, is this like before or after?
I guess this is pre-tax.
Well, no, the thing is, if you live, depends where you live. Because like if you live in Toronto, they're taking half.
No, I'm saying after they juice me on the taxes.
Okay. That
You
makes
need-
a big difference.
You need 100K a month.
I need, 100K a month. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to let you guys know.
I think obviously we're very similar in that sense. Just to give my answer, I like expensive things. That's part of what makes me happy. But I think the other side of it, a part you didn't touch on, but I know you probably think the same way, is I got a family that I want to take care of.
Yeah.
You know, my parents, my grandparents, and all that. So if I want to give them what I believe they deserve, I think I got to make a lot more than 500,000 in a year. I don't think that covers the fucking budget. On top of everything else, I like nice things. I like to travel. Traveling costs money.
Lots.
Unfortunately, that's the way it works. And then, you know, we live in North America where shit ain't cheap, just is what it is. So even if you try to live humbly in a regular condo or whatever, it's still not really cheap. 500,000 is not, I mean, it'll get the job done, but not to the highest extent. I'm going to say like, you give me 2 million a year, I'll be like,
After tax?
after tax, 2 million a year.
No, but I'm saying like right now.
Right now, 2 million a year.
Okay.
Because I think then I'd be giving a lot of it to my family, to be honest.
Okay.
So that's why I got to say 2 million, not 1.2. That's my mark, $2 million. I'm happy now. I got to say, I'm happy now.
There
you go.
Like
Yeah.
that's the thing.
I'm happy now.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's hard to pinpoint like a number because it's like then you're saying that you're not happy until
Yes.
you reach that goal,
That's fair.
and you're allowed to want nice things and you're allowed to want to provide for your family. That's great, but you can't be searching externally from you for happiness. You need to find that within. And yes, of course, it makes life easier. So yeah, it could get you to that place faster.
Yeah.
You know, but like overall, you need to have it first within yourself.
I agree with that.
And there's even
I agree
that,
with
they even set a point in the article where they were like, if you're making 80,000, right? For you to make 90,000 now, you're not gonna fix all your
Change
problems.
much.
You're not gonna be happy, right? It has
Yeah.
to be, I feel like, a drastic change where someone's like, oh, like now I can do all these things now.
I just think the thing about money is like, if you can't pay your bills, like,
Yeah.
You're gonna be
I don't care.
stressed.
I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
we live in
Stress.
North America, so like, it's
Yeah.
like you are going to be stressed. You're stressed. You're not happy. That's
Yeah.
the way I see it. So, but I do agree with you. You got to be happy with yourself internally.
Yeah.
But
Or
then I
you'll
think
constantly be chasing.
100%. But
Yeah.
I also think a big part of that is traveling. Like when you
Totally,
travel
for
and you
sure.
experience new places,
Totally.
you also get you start to appreciate what you have back home. If you go to a place like I
Yeah.
don't want to say a third world country, but like even if you go to Mexico, for example,
Yeah.
and as much as there's like
Toronto
so
prices,
much
bro.
riches, yeah, exactly. But as long as there's so much rich, there's also so much poor, and you kind of see both
Yeah.
sides. And so then you come home and you're like, okay, I live in this fucking shitty fucking condo where these assholes live around me, but like at the end of the day, I still have this. I still have a place, a roof over my head. So
I disagree with that, but
No?
we're
Well,
gonna
we
go.
had that experience when we went to Bali. We just
Yeah.
went and we were literally living in an area that was just totally secluded. These people just have no money. And
Yeah.
we literally
They have
would
nothing.
give $8 as a tip.
Yeah.
And
be
they
fired
would
up,
be,
right?
Yeah.
They'd
they
be on
were-
their knees.
They couldn't believe it. They wanted pictures with us. Like we went home bawling our eyes out after giving really it was nothing for us.
Yeah.
And it made us feel like we're so abundant and we feel selfish for like even wanting all these things.
Yes.
And like at the end of the day, like these people that live in these countries, like they can find happiness. They do find happiness. Like, you know,
Do you think that they're happy though because they don't know about what's happening
What's
on
out
the other
there?
side of the world? Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's comparison. Like for instance, you can be making 6 figures in Toronto and still feel like it's not enough because you're comparing yourself to like millionaires.
Yeah.
And I had went to Mexico for a month last year and I was like hanging out with locals, all of that. They're like dancing in the streets, like they're like poor and they're so happy, right? So I came back and I was like so thankful for everything that I had, like even the car, like I had like a Honda Civic. And prior to going to Mexico, I was like, oh my God, like it's not a Beamer, it's not a Benz.
Yeah.
Right? But I came back, I was like, thank God I have a car, you know?
True.
So
That's
it's
true.
definitely like who you compare yourself to. Even on the outskirts of Toronto, I feel like there's less hustle culture, so they're okay with like lesser amounts of money. But in Toronto, it's like
That comes with being in a big city for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it depends on where you want to live. That kind of will set a certain marker. But
I think I realized the opposite. Sorry to like
no, go.
stop this question, but when I come back here, I'm just like, think about all I could have if I actually lived where I just came from.
Okay.
Like you see what I'm
In
saying?
what
Like, okay,
sense?
like,
In what
okay,
sense?
that condo, that whatever that you have, or you're living in that car that you're paying for, like all that money that you're spending to live here, think about what you could do with that money in the place that you just came from vacation.
Okay, but would you hustle that hard if you were
No,
living in that
yeah.
place? Like you wouldn't be making the same amount of money because you wouldn't need the same amount of money to live, right? And you wouldn't be thinking about a Range Rover and a fucking bridle path home in Mexico the same way you're thinking about it here.
there
'Cause you'd
probably would be less opportunity to even make that there too.
Yeah, facts.
You'd have
Facts.
to
Maybe
make
you
it
just
here
gotta,
and
you
live
gotta
Or you
make
join
it
the
here and
cartel.
then you go
Yeah.
there, or you join the cartel.
Yeah.
Bri, how much you need?
How much you want, bro? How much you want? How much you need?
I mean, every year I want to unlock a new chapter, a new kind of level in my life. So definitely 7 figures would be the goal. And if I have a girlfriend, I'm paying for all day. I've got my food.
Wait, hold on.
I got my trend. I got my gym memberships. Honestly, I have a lot of expenses, but at the same time, I don't.
Yeah.
But 7 figures would be a sweet spot for sure.
You got that Gymshark deal, bro. You're going there.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah.
What do you mean a girl you have to pay for all day? Like I don't.
I mean, I'm a provider, guys. So
There you go.
That's
I
a real man.
gotta take care of my ladies.
So
whether-
7 figures.
At
a
least.
year.
Yeah.
Okay.
That for the next year, like the
And then
next
next-
level, and
yeah.
then the next level, and then the next
Okay.
level.
Okay, so that's your next level.
Yeah, yeah.
I like
Okay.
that.
Okay. Rachel?
We're gonna get to you. Dean,
Yeah,
though.
like I said, not like a specific number. I think
But you got to put a number on it. You got to give us a number.
Yeah, actually, Brian, like you actually got to give a number. Now that I think about
Oh, you
it.
said 7 figures, $1 million. Yeah?
Yeah, $1 million.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I don't agree with the statement. I don't know. I can't.
Okay. So right now, if you made $0, you'd still be happy living in Toronto.
Well, no, considering my environment, like
Well,
of
okay.
course
Well,
not.
we got to be realistic to the environment. So let's speak on the fact that you live here today in Toronto or Burlington. But
Okay, like literally. Well, I don't know. Okay, $50K to pay for my expenses. Like, truly, like, if I can pay all my expenses, then
Then you're good.
I'm just happy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's
Yeah.
about what makes you happy and what you want to do. Like even if you know you have a certain amount of money, if you know you're not gonna like spend it on like materialistic things
Yeah.
and shit like that.
And I'm also saying like that's like the bare minimum to pay for
All that stuff,
expenses.
yes,
I'm
yes.
assuming it would be like $50K, right?
Okay,
like,
so then on top of the expenses, let's say,
but you
travels.
have happiness with that point, and then you're like pushing yourself, and you have all these goals, and it makes life fun. You're always progressing.
it's a
and
journey. Okay,
It's a
but
journey.
doesn't that bring you happiness? Like being able to travel.
Yeah,
to
but I was
Bali?
already happy. So like, what happiness level are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. But you want at least 50 to cover the expenses.
I'm not saying I want 50.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
I'll need
like,
50 to cover.
Okay,
and then,
you need-
just cover so I can not worry about money.
okay,
So that's not a stress.
and then you have that freedom. You do whatever you want with
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, we got a corporate girly.
Yeah.
So she's thinking bigger. I know. I know
Yeah.
she's
I
thinking
was
bigger.
thinking numbers.
Probably like 5 million.
Oh shit.
But like,
Okay.
I almost forgot the
You
question.
just
that came back.
blew, you just blew us out of the water.
but
Okay.
then not necessarily like annually. Like, give me 5 million and like I'll see what I can do with it.
Okay.
But
Like right now, like right away, give me 5 million.
Yeah,
And
like
then
I don't
you're
even know
gonna-
if I'll be alive in like 5 years. Like we need to do it like one lump sum, you know, make the
Right
most
now.
of it. Yeah, not going with. No, definitely more than the 500K. Like especially living in Toronto, and then you want to travel, you want to be able to buy the things you want to buy. And there was like once a point where I thought like 100K. Like if I make 100K, I'll be so happy. I'll never complain about anything ever again.
And then you made 100K
Yeah,
and then it wasn't enough.
No, exactly. Like it's never enough, I feel like, because as you make more too, like things start to, you get used to a certain expense lifestyle.
Yes.
And as you make more, you get to do things that you didn't get to do before. So whether it's like, you know, treating your family or traveling more, like you want to maintain that, right? It's hard to go back to like nothing. So
Of course.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't even put a limit on it. Like,
give me the
No
most you
limit.
got.
yeah.
How long have you been in the corporate world?
Like 3-4 years.
Okay.
And like I've seen people make like a lot of money.
Well, this is what
right?
I was gonna
So,
ask you. You think it was like it's around like you being around all this money all the
Yeah.
time and you seeing the environment and the people around you. Now this guy's showing up in a Ferrari and you're like, wait, I never seen that before.
Right.
So the appetite grew and grew.
Yeah, exactly. When you get a taste of it, and not just that, but when you see how like accessible it actually is, like it's
Yes.
not as hard as you think it is to like make that much. And the more you surround yourself with it, like you want to be included, you want to participate, you want to be part of that, right?
I definitely agree.
Amazing. So, yeah, I've definitely like dove into this a lot because personally, kind of what Rachel said, I don't attach happiness to money, and I haven't majority of my life. So if it was just me, like again, just my expenses, but I can't lie, there is a direct correlation between my happiness and my ability to give back. And I want to do that as much as possible. You know, I don't really care about material things. I do care about travel. But with traveling, you know, happiness is a feeling. And when we were in Bali and we were giving back like $8, that feeling, it felt as if someone just gave me 20 grand.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. Yeah. And so that's how I know that that's where my happiness lies, and money's going to help me do that. And then, you know, I also have my own goals. I want to make movies, and that is really expensive. And, you know, I want to definitely be able to make my own dreams come true. But I'd be happy if I didn't. But I wouldn't be happy if I left this earth not giving back, you know, and making a huge impact in that way.
Yeah, I agree. I think like as crazy as it sounds, giving money away is like one of the best feelings.
It's the
Totally.
best
Shout out Tipple, no?
feeling.
Pitbull? Pitbull said
What'd he
that.
say?
He said,
Yeah, go ahead.
money buys happiness. You just got to give it away.
Yeah.
But even that goes even to my point now with let's say 50K, or did you give a number? No.
Honestly, with everything that I want to do and all the people that I want to help, again, it's like it's not connected to me and how many cars and houses I can buy. It's more like how much money can I accumulate over my life and give back, you know? So, I mean, that is an untapped number. Give me 100 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what I
I
wanted to
gotta
say
start saying
because
bigger
That
fucking
impact
numbers.
Yeah.
Though.
I
would
don't think-
feel
let's say
so,
even. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
so good.
I don't think it's everything though. Like you could be like a multimillionaire and get slapped in the face with like a health issue, but money buys freedom because then at that point you have access to different resources than other people.
Yep.
Well, even going on Rachel 50K, let's say, if you were to get, let's say, 150K, you could technically give away 100 of it and have that feeling,
Would you though?
right? No, I'm just saying you could give away 5K a month at that point, like you were doing in Bali imagine you gave someone $5,000 there.
Oh my God.
That's
That's the
the
goal.
goal,
We
yeah.
want to
Right?
go back and give back to the family that hosted us.
Yeah,
they were
that's what
so
we said.
amazing. Like we want to send them their kids clothes and toys and
We're already racking up like a package to send back.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
dope. And I think that even from me and Anthony's experience, probably the last few months, but even the last year or so, we've done some times where we gave money away. We did something with MD Motivator too, never went live, but went to Walmart, gave a guy $1,000 who was in line about to pay for his stuff. Had like the construction vest on,
It was
2
3
little
kids,
kids,
yeah.
very, like he was very foreign. He didn't really know how to speak English well.
We just threw him some cash.
Give him $1,000 and
Yeah.
his face was crazy. And then we've been doing giveaways and stuff like that too. It feels really good to give it away. So when I'm even thinking of my budget and Ant can attest this, is just like, if we're making a certain amount, there's a percentage of it that we're actually going to give away consistently.
yeah, you're putting that
And that's
into
just
it.
because we felt it. We're like, oh shit, that's how it feels when you give money away. And we're like, we got to figure out a way to do it more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I was just saying that because maybe your amounts would increase if you thought of it that way, where it's like, oh shit, well, I'll just get $1 million a year and give half of it away.
I think
Well,
the demon kind of that lies in this question is like, no one wants to be like, fuck, money is what's making me happy. But again, I think we just need to be realistic with the world that we live in. It's not 1800s where you can like have chickens and get the eggs and you give the eggs to your friend and that's the same thing. That's the equivalent of saying,
do that every morning.
Could be our reality.
it could be depending on where you live, but like if speaking from a, like say a North American outlook, it's not anymore. Now it's like, hey, here's $500 or here's $1,000, right? So that's why I just think it's like, that question's always looked at in a negative way, but I think people got to start looking at money actually differently. I think it's actually a whole money thing in general where it's like, money's not evil. Okay. I mean, depending how you look at it, it can be different. It can be in different ways, but if you use it for good, it's a good thing. Like it's a good outlet, right?
Yeah.
So,
and the more you give, the more you'll get back.
I agree. Honestly, I agree with that. I agree with that. So, okay, cool. No, good. I want to tap into something else. I have a bunch of questions here, but I want to go, I don't know if you want to say this is controversial. I don't think it is, but it's been causing a little bit of controversy over the last, I'd say, year or two. The question of like, what is a woman? Okay. We've had many heated debates.
We're all getting canceled.
We've had many heated debates. No. We got to speak truth on this podcast, and that's why we have this podcast. Yeah, it's called Money Buys Happiness, but we're here to speak our truth. At least there's been this big uprising of like, what is a woman, gender ideology, all these different things, right? But and myself and Ernesto have had conversations plenty of times, just me and him and Dean. But we have some women in front of us that I would like to get your opinion on it. I'll use an example of something that kind of happened recently, and then we'll use that to kind of bounce off. But recently, for International Women's Day, the Raptors put out like a video. I don't know if you guys heard about this. No. They put out a video just celebrating women. Great, love that. And in the video, one of the Raptors players says, something along the lines of like, women are so amazing because they're the only ones who can procreate. And it went viral. And then obviously
the mob came.
You had the mob.
They came through.
The rainbow mob. The alphabet mob. And they came through and they made a stink, as they always do, always the loudest ones on the internet. And long story short, the Raptors delete the video, put out an apology, and then now you have this kind of debate online of people who are like saying, they shouldn't have deleted it. They should delete it. Fuck you guys. Love the whatever. And so I'm curious to hear your opinions. I'll give mine very quickly. I think they should have 100% kept that. I'm of the belief that women are the only gender, sex, whatever you want to call it, that can procreate.
Yeah.
It's biology. I don't really see any way around it. There's people's feelings, but feelings aren't always facts, right? So in my eyes, that's the truth. And I think that even beyond what my opinion is on it, I think the bigger issue is that it's kind of disrespectful to women, in my opinion. I think that, procreation is literally one of the most powerful things on this earth. Like the fact that a woman can procreate, it should be one of the most celebrated things ever. And to go ahead and now kind of say that other genders can procreate is taking away from women. So that's my opinion on it. And I'm very surprised that not more women, and I'm sure they're usually silent because people don't want to get canceled or canceled, which isn't even a real thing. But I'm surprised not more women are outraged by that. I think that, again, it's a hit. It's a hit at women. Like I think it's extremely disrespectful to women to say that a man can procreate, because it's just not true, right? And you're sort of taking away one of the superpowers of a woman, right? Like if we don't have women, we don't procreate, we're done. This earth is finished. So that's my long-winded answer on that, or my opinion on it. But I'm curious to hear your guys' opinion on that whole situation and what your thoughts are.
So if I wasn't able to have children, I'm a woman, I have all the organs. If I wasn't able to, do you think that I'm not a woman then?
No. I think you're still a woman.
So like, I just feel like it's like having this kind of conversation. It's like, we're just, again, putting ourselves in boxes. The whole conversation of gender.
Okay, but so sorry, what would make you not be able to have kids if you're a woman?
Well, there are a lot of women that have difficulties with getting pregnant and not able to carry a child. And I know a lot of women, it's very difficult for them, and they feel less of a woman because of that.
But they all have the chromosomes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is we got to draw a line of like what's real and what's not, right? Because it's like if I come here and I say I'm a unicorn, you're gonna look at me and say, bro, no, you're not. Like, you're a man. You have a certain scientific and biological makeup that makes you a man. So now if my sperm doesn't work and whatever, that's one thing, but I'm still a man, right? Because of my biological makeup, the chromosomes that are in my body. So although I am for people doing what they want and saying what they want, there is science. Like we got to, when does science play a role and when does it not, right?
Yeah. Personally, it just doesn't affect me.
Okay.
Don't really care to put everyone in boxes. You're this, you're that. Like, you're this nationality. You have to act like this. This is your job. Like, who cares? Like,
I think the issue is people start caring when it's put out into society in a way that's, you know, that you've heard in schools. They're teaching about stuff like this now. Like,
I heard YouTube kids, they advertise like specific things that confuse them.
Well, it's something that's kind of confusing children, where like if someone told me when I was 8 or 9, like you could be whatever gender you want. I don't know if that's a good conversation to be having with a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old.
I mean, it's education. Like,
it is education, but there's education, and then there's like trust me, do this kind of thing, right? And it's like we've only seen this in the last couple of years. So for me, it's kind of like, why is this happening now when the world's like literally going to shits at the same time? I don't like putting people in boxes either, but then there's society where you need to put people in boxes. You have to. Like in certain boxes, you have to, for me, like an all gender bathroom, that's like a red flag, because for a man to walk into a washroom with a woman, and now I'm thinking that woman might be my sister, my mom, my younger cousin, that doesn't really sit well with me. So that's the problem for me. I just don't think that you can be able to just say all of a sudden for the last 3 years. And if you look at stats, I don't know the stats, but if you look at stats, there was a certain amount of people, let's say, that were transgender for a long time, a certain ratio of people compared to the population. And now that's skyrocketing. Is it because everyone's just happy they can be who they want to be? Or is it because that education is changing in a way? I want to know your opinion, you know?
I want to be really careful with my words. But I think, I believe everyone should be able to do and be
100%
who they want.
Yes.
I, personally don't feel like I was born in the wrong body. I'm not trans. I'll never understand all of the struggles and trauma that comes with that.
Yes.
I'll never understand that. But someone who was not born a woman will not understand truly the way I do what it was like to grow up as a woman, to get your period for the first time, to not be educated about what's happening to your body and these changes, to be harassed by men at 10, 14 years old, to not feel safe. That goes into being a woman and overcoming all those things, And so with people who are trans, there's things that I'll never understand. And I don't want to compare struggles and be like, we had it harder. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure it's really hard for them. But, I saw a TikTok where a trans woman was, going to buy tampons and making a joke out of it. And it just felt like you don't really know how that was. And that personally, I don't know, that is where I feel a little bit of the disrespect of taking away from what it truly means to be born a woman and grow up a child, a little girl, into a woman. Yeah. That is ours,
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
I agree with that too. Yeah.
That's how I feel about that. But regardless, I want everyone to be happy. And again, I don't know what it's like to be a little boy or a little girl and feel like I'm in the wrong body and this doesn't feel right and I can't express myself properly. That sounds so traumatic. And I want to feel for those people. However, I don't like this narrative of taking away and redefining what a woman is, when it's like, if you were not born a woman and had to be a little girl, you're never going to truly understand the way we do. And I want that to be respected.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
For me, if someone identifies as a woman or like whatever it may be, like that stuff doesn't affect me. Like it's not harming me. Like I don't care. So I just have the narrative of like, I'll let people, identify as they wish and I'll respect that. But I do think society has gotten really sensitive, like, and it goes back to intention, like the Raptors thing you said, like they weren't trying to offend anyone. It would be a different story if someone was like, you know, spreading hate towards that, but like to take it way out of context from what it's meant to, that's where I think it gets a little bit frustrating. But
yeah, I mean, speaking to the like it doesn't affect me thing, I know that's one way to look at it, which is of course respectable. My thing is like, I'm going to have kids one day, and what world do I want my kids to, you know, be born into? And I'm all for everyone identifying, identify as you please, whatever. That doesn't necessarily affect me. But where I do feel that there is a need to speak up to a certain extent is that, like I said, when I have children one day and there's certain things being taught in schools that I disagree with, you know, we got it. There's feelings, but there's facts at the same time. So if we're gonna come in, right, and in school, you know, even with the sexuality stuff, like I don't know. When I was in school, we didn't talk about that at school. I don't know about you guys. Like I didn't talk about sexuality in school. School was very black and white. This is math. This is science. This is English. Whatever. So I feel like if you feel a way about it, you should speak up about it, because it's also your right. Like you should be allowed to speak up. And if you are planning to have children in the future, or you care about what the future of this world looks like, and if that doesn't align with your views, then I think you should have the right. But I truly think there's two sides to it. The kids aspect of like, just let kids be kids and stop like talking about sexuality with children. I think that's just kind of fucking weird in general.
Yeah.
And I think the other aspect of it is, it's disrespectful to women. That's my opinion. I'm not a woman. I know you kind of touched on that briefly, Sky. Like, but I can understand that. Like, I could see where you're coming from, because I have a similar mindset again as a man, that it's just disrespectful. Like I know, you know, I have a sister, a mother. You know, I've seen them grow up too, and become, you know, more mature women as I grew up next to them, and I just think it's disrespectful to them. I know the traumas they've gone through. I know all those things, right? They're close family, and for somebody to try to take that away from them, I don't think that's right. Like, just my opinion.
My thing is like, where does it end? Like, where does it stop?
It doesn't.
So are you saying, Rachel, that you think that like it's just a free for all, like everyone just be who you want to be, let's live life over here kind of thing?
Yeah, let's live, laugh,
okay,
love.
So I'm going to bring something up.
Happy Dad is available at a lot of your local bars and restaurants. You might even find it at some saloons. If you've enjoyed a Happy Dad, then you know it goes well with your burger, your wings, pizza, and steak. People in California eat it with their sushi, too. Go to happydad.com/find to find a bar or restaurant near you so you can watch the games with the boys while enjoying an ice-cold daddy drink. The ladies love it as well. If your bar doesn't carry Happy Dad, then ask them to call their distributor to stock up. You can't have a burger with that skinny can you? It's time to man up and drink Happy Dad. Happy New Year.
How about a transgender man in a woman's sport? Like, do you think that's right?
I don't think I can really speak on that, because
like if you were
I'm not too educated on that.
Yeah,
so
but
I
if
don't
you were
even-
playing sports, for example,
yeah,
and you were working your whole life to play a certain sport and be good at that sport, and you were, let's say, top 5 as a female in Canada, okay? And everyone around you, the fourth person, third, they're all working 15, 20 years just every day just to be this athlete. And then a guy comes along that has now decided that he's transgender and now he is a woman. And we know how that story goes. Straight to the top, maybe 1 year of training, maybe whatever training he already did as a male. And now that person is the top of that sport.
There's definitely a disadvantage.
So there's definitely a disadvantage, right? So I want to know your thoughts on that, because it's kind of like, it's my concept of like, when does it end kind of thing? Because when you start doing that, it's like, okay, well now what is women's sport?
yeah.
Right? And it's like, I would feel awful if like someone I knew or a friend or family member was working so hard at a sport just to like kind of just get demoralized like that. And that's not just like 50% of the time that if a male goes into that sport, he'll dominate. It's more than that, right?
It's like 99% of the time.
So I was the same as you.
Are they allowed
I was
to?
thinking
Has
this.
that happened though?
Yeah, many times.
UFC too, I think,
Yeah.
or something.
Some
MMA.
fighting, yeah. And now it's happening kind of in
Track and field,
NCAA.
the swimming.
swimmer.
Leah
So
Thomas,
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like, I'm very
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if you want to do you be whoever you want. You call yourself whatever you want. Use whatever names you want to use in the book. I really don't care. But like I said, now it comes into society, and because there's not that box for gender, it's just an open market. It's just like, oh, everyone just do whatever you want, right? And that's alarming to me because that could change society as a whole, right?
I think you can go deeper. Like I've read things about transgender women being put into female prisons. Like that to me sounds fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
And there's problems with that, right? And there was actually something that happened. Again, I'm just quoting something. It's from an actual story though. But there was
source. Trust me, bro.
there was a transgender female, right? That went to a.
There's just a ton of the problem. Just to sum up the whole bit of the problem, I think that you guys are trying to. It's like there's got to be a limit where like things like men who are violent criminals suddenly identifying as a woman so they can be in women's prisons and have an easier time and commit crimes. That's happened
Right?
before.
And a lot, most of these, like a lot of the athlete stories that I've seen is someone that's like it's a recent transition.
They usually transition and then they're like, maybe 200th, 300th place in their division of men. And then they transition into a woman and they're crushing the record. So there's definitely sports where they've stopped that and they've realized, listen, if you're a deadlifter, you cannot transition and then crush the records of women who are deadlifting. There's a reason there's the NBA and the WNBA.
So
you can't.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Like it's just there has to be some sort of line, and maybe that's where we disagree. Maybe you think that there shouldn't be a line, but I'm just like, yo, with that, like there's one thing with okay, this is what I identify as, and then there's another thing where it's like, no, now everyone has to abide by this so that we can continue to live. Like I don't think that's necessary. I think everyone already accepts everyone. I think it's 2023 now. Like, I think when it comes to anyone in the LGBTQ, I think they're accepted. I think people just say,
Well, I wouldn't say that.
okay,
but
not fully accepted, but maybe because there is such a push where they're just wondering like, okay, we get it. Like you want to be this certain person, which is fine. And I think everyone has the right to be their own person. Then it comes into sports, then it comes into schools, and then it comes into the media where it's like, okay, what do you really want?
Yeah, but like when it comes to schools and like education, how come no one talks about, just like the movies? Like there's always a girl and a guy kissing, and then it's like, oh, there's two guys kissing, outrage.
No, not anymore though.
To be honest,
like,
I think
we should be educated in schools about it because it exists. We're acting like it doesn't exist.
I think education
so
is one thing, but there's like schools that are having like, instead of recess, they're having drag shows now.
And what's wrong with that?
That's a bit
though?
I don't really.
What's wrong with
that? Because that's sexuality.
Yeah,
again,
why are you? That's like bringing a kid to a strip club.
So many kids. No, it's not though. But so many kids are watching things that are.
So you would be okay with your child at a drag show?
100%.
That's
crazy.
But
that's
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
it's an environment. Wait, there's a place in Toronto. I just saw a TikTok. I don't know what it's called, but there's a place in Toronto, and I literally just saw a TikTok of a mother bringing her two girls. They dressed up. They put glitter on, all colorful outfits. They went and like they were bringing them on like stage or whatever, and they were dancing. Like they were so happy. Like there was nothing harmful about it.
What did the guys look like? Were they wearing like very slutty clothing?
No, but like.
I think
they're exposed to nudity online. But
I mean, like just because it's done somewhere else
not.
doesn't mean like you just say, okay, fuck it. They're already exposed to it. Let's just open up the floodgates and let them be exposed to everything. I mean, I think once or if you become a mother, I think that you would change your mind.
Definitely not.
I think so.
I think it's like the prison thing and the sport thing. There's a limit, right? Obviously, you wouldn't want a drag show where they were wearing bra and panties and swinging the kids.
Yeah, or like even the marches. Like I don't like that they make it so sexual. Like I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the jock straps and.
I'm just saying.
But we also have to be realistic that culture is very sexualized.
And it shouldn't be.
But it's them. Like it's the people in that group that are making it sexual.
Well,
so like
imagine
what I mean?
like being in this box for so long and not being able to express yourself.
And
that is gonna explode in a way. I'm not saying I agree with it.
You know what? I can give an analogy, which I agree to that. Not making it right or wrong, but I had a friend in high school who like everyone kind of knew he was gay the whole time. He was actually one of my best friends, and when he finally came out, it was like he was like super like feminine, and he had the voice and whatever, and he kind of calmed down as time went on. So I do understand that. But again, I think we gotta set limits for children.
100%.
Okay, like, I'm 27 or I'm almost 27. If I see that, I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm fucking used to it. There's porn all over the internet, whatever. Like, Instagram's very sexual at this point, fine. But if there's kids, like, I'm sorry. I just don't think that is something that kids should ever be exposed to, sexual or not. Like, again, I just think it's something that there's an age for it. There's an age to learn it. I thought that the generation I grew up in was very good at that. I thought that there was gay kids in my school. It was whatever. Like, it was just normal. No one looked at it as this crazy anomaly. And we learned that kind of as time went on. Like, but when I see 6-year-old kids with their parents at a drag show, I think that's fucking insane. And that's just, again, my opinion. But that to me is insane, because I wouldn't let my kid watch movies where there's naked people in general, even if it's straight or gay. It doesn't matter, right? So I just think there's been this big push to sexualize things with children. And I don't know why that's become this massive thing in recent time. Like, let's just go back to letting kids be kids. That's my opinion on it. And not really bring sexuality into it. There's an age. I don't know what the perfect age is. Later in elementary, maybe grade 8, 7, 8, you start to bring it in. I don't know. For you guys in elementary school, like, was sex like a major topic? Like,
no, there was no proper sexual education at all.
Yeah.
Not even about this, just
Banana.
in general.
in general, yeah. Like, they
Putting
didn't
condoms on a banana, like having the teacher pull out a pad and all the boys laugh and we feel like this is a shameful thing, our period, like just so many things. It was such terrible sexual education growing up.
Fair.
So you're saying there should be better sexual education, which I agree
And I know
with
it's a little different than what you're talking about, but
yeah.
Yeah.
As a whole.
yeah, I don't know any kids in school right now, but I hope that's getting better. I hope, when pads and tampons and period starts, becoming something that they're talking about in school, that these little girls feel heard and like are properly educated about what's happening to their body.
But imagine if they were celebrated. Imagine if women were celebrated properly rather than people being like, no, women aren't the only ones who can procreate. Now we got to delete videos on International Women's Day. Like, do you see how this circles back to my initial point of like, if women were just celebrated properly and you didn't have biological men trying to take the shine from them, that probably would lead to better sex education for young girls and young boys.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I think there's just a pattern. And we've lost it. And then the problem is that in elementary schools, you have teachers that have their own personal ideas and they bring that into the classroom rather than, again, facts.
And you know what's crazy? It's like back then we didn't get that. We didn't get proper education. We were shamed and felt, wrong about our bodies. But now all these things that are so new are celebrated and spoken about, and teachers and parents are like making sure everyone feels good and comfortable. Where was that when we were kids?
Facts,
for women.
100%. I'm with you on that. So I think there's some common ground. I feel like you have something to say.
I was just gonna say, I feel like things are being spoken about younger and younger because of social media. Like, they're seeing things and they're questioning it and they have no idea what's going on. Like, when I was growing up, there was a lot I didn't question probably till like high school. But then I have like nieces and nephews who are like, what is this? What is this? I'm like, how do you even know what that is? Like, and it's because they're seeing it on social media, whether it's TikTok, Instagram. And so they're curious. And then at that point, you have to educate them because you're not going to let them learn everything from the internet, But
who do you want to teach your kids? Do you want to teach your kids that stuff? Or do you want I'm going to go ahead and say a stranger, essentially in a teacher, to teach your kids that stuff?
I mean, I would want to.
Yeah, and that's kind of the big debate, right? There's a lot of schools where it's the teacher and they do it. And I've spoken to a principal of an elementary school in Miami, in Florida, where she's like, we don't even talk about that at school.
Right.
Like, that's not even.
You don't need to. It's
100%. That's my take on it.
Well,
you have to
unless it's like health. Education.
No. Biological, scientific.
Right.
A man has these body parts, a woman has these. I personally have no issue with that.
Yeah.
But
I think what's happening too is there's a lot of, and I've said this before, there's a lot of, like for children or anyone in the younger generation, it's less of their parents teaching them anything really, and more of them just learning from what they see online. So yeah, it's not looking good. That's for
no,
sure.
listen, it depends who you're asking.
Okay,
but for
I
me,
have a question. So just we're gonna end this topic after this question. Okay.
Okay.
But Brian, you got to say something, bro.
What's your take, Brian? Give me your fucking take.
So there was some
Say that
recent
now,
news.
say
I think it was last week. Trudeau gives federal employees a $75K benefit for sex changes. Okay. What a nice guy. Since when the fuck do they do anything in our benefit? Does Trudeau do anything in our benefit? Does the government do anything in our benefit? Do they give us money for free because they're nice people? Because they're like, you know what? If you feel this way, here's $75,000. Meanwhile, they're taxing us 50% on all our income,
Right.
because they're dicks. So it's like the government doesn't do nice things. Okay, so I want to know what you guys think about this.
That's the catch,
Trudeau
right?
gives federal employees a $75K benefit for sex changes. So if someone's a federal employee and they're feeling like they want to get a sex change, the government will pretty much pay for it. Again, this is coming out of your pocket, all our pockets. So I just want to know what you think, because I personally strongly think that the government does not do nice things, especially ours. So please prove me wrong. Someone.
Out
Okay.
of all
I
the
agree.
things that the government could put that money into, it's that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no. You know what? You took the words out of my mouth. You took the words out of my mouth. Like,
Listen, that was a common argument. That was a
I
common
think
argument.
there's just more important places for the money to go.
100%.
Yeah,
There's
like,
people on the
great, but-
streets.
There's people, like there's literally homeless tents outside this office.
This is a huge issue in Toronto.
Yeah, and that's not where the money goes. Like, so
It's like they want to put a Band-Aid. Like, look, we're good. We're helping. Look what we're doing for you guys.
Can I just explain it all to you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
do it.
Homeless people don't vote. The people that are transitioning, that are getting the 75K, they vote, and all the people who agree with it, they vote.
yeah, I was gonna say
It's
it's
all
become
about vote.
politicized.
It's a
For me, I
political.
vote.
Yeah.
Listen, if you don't support it and you are somebody who is in the Liberal Party, you're not going to be, your friends are not going to talk to you more. You're going to be you're going to be a transphobe, which is like not the same as saying maybe we shouldn't give people $75,000 for this particular operation. There's plenty. How about the people who are struggling with cancer? They couldn't use the $75,000, but people with cancer is not a popular topic. We'll give it to the transgender people who are federal employees, because I'll probably get a boost in my ratings next season, right?
You didn't have to come with all the facts at
Well,
once.
you
could have left some for the
I got to make up for Brian over here. He's not
makes
saying
sense.
nothing.
No, I'm in total agreement with Dean. It is 100% a political play here in Canada. There's way better places the money could go. I think that's a feelings thing, not a health thing. So when it's feelings things, why are we giving money to people for feelings and not taking care of other things that are happening in our country or cities in Canada where the money could be better used? I think it's like pretty straightforward. But we know Trudeau to be a very divisive person, and he knows who his voters are, as Dean mentioned, and so he's going to do everything to keep his voters happy. It's that simple.
And by the way, let me just say that there's nothing wrong with giving money to a minority group.
Yeah.
The problem
It's never
is that the priorities that he clearly has, when you have all these other people that could use the money from a long time ago, like not just like the last couple of years. I think the common argument was like, yeah, there's a lot of other things to spend their money on.
I mean, hot take, but to be honest, I'd rather give 75K to people to have sex changes than send money to fucking Ukraine if
Fair,
you want to
okay.
go deep.
Well, if you wanted to go there,
because we're sending
fuck.
money to another country when we have issues inside of our own country.
Yes.
So
I just want to know who votes for these.
Did you guys vote Trudeau?
No, who votes for the like? Who,
Did you vote Trudeau?
This money just
No.
flies away. Like it's just like, where's all this money? It's okay, whatever. Bryce, what do you think, bro? Come on. What do you think, bro? You gonna go work for the federal government, get a sex change, or what? 75K? Okay.
Okay, let's talk social
guy's
media.
gonna lose
let's
his
talk,
sponsorship.
Let's talk social media. Let's talk social media,
right.
okay?
Thank you.
I got some questions for you guys.
Thank you.
I got some questions for you guys. Obviously, we are all on social media, so I don't have to ask you if you are. I think that's a pretty...
Not Brian. Brian's not.
Brian,
No,
on social
I'm
media.
not on social media.
On
private.
social media, do you post any bikini pics, any provocative photos, would you say, on social media?
Yes.
Definitely used to, for the wrong reasons.
Okay.
And it took a lot of inner growth and realizing how much of it was a lie to myself. And this is for me. And I feel good. This makes me feel good. No, it was validation. It was attention. And that took a couple years to get to that point. I don't think there's anything wrong with posting bikini pic. Like, do what you want. It's the intention behind it.
Yeah.
And yeah, in that topic, I've definitely done a lot of inner growth and, you know, to the point where looking back, I mean, I've taken them all down now, but looking back at certain pictures, I was like, I can't believe I uploaded that.
Yeah. I think for me, like, the reason I'm asking this and my next follow-up was going to be like, why? I'm just curious, like, what's the thought process behind posting photos like that? Again, I'm not saying I'm for it, against it. I'm really just opening the floor. I'm very curious.
Yeah, definitely. Like back in the day, it was for validation, attention, from men.
Okay.
It's just icky that we care about that.
I give you the
but,
You looked at me.
But now it's like, you know, I'm proud of my body. I'm proud of me. There's nothing shameful. There's, you know, I want to show my confidence, and I just don't care. It's like, I literally don't care who watches. I want to post it. I look good.
I think it's a beautiful moment when you get to that moment where you stop giving a fuck about what other people think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some people never even get there, which is fucked.
Especially when you're trying to grow on social media and you're you know, building your platform, and you post a bikini picture and it gets 1,000 likes, and you post a selfie and it gets 2 likes.
Yep.
You know, and you're trying to grow, you get that engagement up. I got swooped into this vortex of, I got to post what does well.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, and it didn't feel good. It was completely surface level, false sense of security, validation from people that I don't even care to get validation from in the first place. Yeah. But the numbers were good. I'm growing. But again, do these people actually care about me? When I have something to offer and things that I have to say, are they even listening? Like, what kind of people am I bringing in, versus like the reason behind I'm trying to grow a platform in the first place. I'm not trying to grow a platform to get attention and validation. So why am I feeding into that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm torn between the whole thing, because as much as I understand the thought process of like, like I'm just doing it for me now, I also have a hard time believing that. And it's not a shot at you guys. It's just my, you know, it's for myself too, because I'm the same way. Like, I post things.
Bikini photos?
No, not bikini photos, not at all. But
God.
whatever, you know, like, you know your audience, you know what they like in reality, right? Now, I see social media in a certain way. I see social media as a channel of business. And like, that's how I use my social media. My social media, I put none of my personal life on it. I don't show my family. I don't show anybody close to me. It is literally just probably clips of this podcast and like travel, showing where we are and where we're about to record. It's like, if you look at it, there's no cap. It's extremely just like business focused. And so when I see a social media channel or Instagram page, whatever, and it's not really for business, I have a hard time understanding, and maybe you guys can help me understand this. I have a hard time understanding that the things being posted are for yourself rather than for the people watching. Like, you know what I mean? Because like, even for me, when I'm posting on my IG, again, it's strictly for business. So I am worried about what people, like how people are reacting to the content. Cause if I post a clip of this podcast and they like it, I'm like, cool, I know what we need to continue talking about, right?
There's the value, right?
There's value, but it's in the form of like, this is how I put food on the table type of thing. It's how I pay my rent, right? So when there's no like, again, this is just the way I see it. When there's no source of income sort of coming through it, I have a hard time understanding or believing that the post is for you and not for the people watching. Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just different genres, you know, like you're doing it for your business, which is that. Yeah. But if my focus is women empowerment, well, I mean, of course I'm going to be posting myself and show my confidence through my photos, not in like, I'm posting a butt pic. Like, I get that, but
Okay.
I think people just use it. They use social media for different reasons. I think what you're saying is what we fall into. And it's like, I would say that's like 5 to 10% of social media that actually uses it for a business purpose.
I think more than that. It's been growing more. I think people are using it more for that. Yeah, but then
you see what I'm saying? Like there's people that just have social media so they can find the relationship. They could find the next person to sleep with, to find the next club promoter to message and go to the club.
It is a dating
They
app.
gotta put their best pics up forward.
So people use it for different reasons. There's someone that says, bro, I'll never use that for business, but I'll fucking just post pics of myself until a girl recognizes me or wants to fucking
but
give me a shout.
I think that's fucking stupid. Like, to be honest, I think using it for those reasons is gonna lead you down a road of being unhappy.
Of course. But
That's gonna make you eventually self-conscious, because if you're posting, like you made a good example. People are using it as a dating app, looking for their future hubby, their future wifey.
You ain't gonna find them
What
there.
happens when they don't come? You start to feel like shit. What happens when the likes don't come? You start to feel like shit, right? And that's my point, is like, when there's no purpose behind the IG page, the TikTok page, outside of looking for other people or whatever, like you're gonna fall into the trap of like, holy fuck, I'm depressed because no one likes my photos, no one comments on my photos.
I think all of us here, except you maybe, would be using it for business, correct?
No, I use social media personally.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Like, it's actually pretty separate. Like, there's LinkedIn and then there's Instagram.
Okay, so your Instagram is more like just like, for my friends and like.
Well, what I like about like social media is that as you like get older and you start to like hang out with people less because you're super busy, like everyone you went to high school with, like grew up with, like family members that you might see like once a year, sometimes like even less than that, they can kind of stay updated with your life. So that's one thing I like about it. So I will post like what I'm eating, where I'm going, things like that. And then when you catch up with people, it's like a way to stay connected.
Yes.
And, you know, like in a time where we're so busy, like you could still keep people updated with your life. So,
and I want people to see my outfit. Like, I got a bomb outfit. Like,
I mean, you know what? I can attest to like everything you ladies are saying, because I mean, we're both from nightlife, me and Anth. We were both promoters, you guys know, right? And that's
horrible life. It was the worst life of all time.
But again, I was also in that mood where it's like, oh, like I gotta show people what I'm doing because they gotta see it, and like, and like it sucks because sometimes like you kind of have to, depending on your business.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is fucked.
Well,
now you're just gonna say go into a new business if you don't like it, right? But obviously,
no. I think that is the best use of social media is business.
Okay, but hold on now.
But also, it's great to connect with people. Like if I post a book that I'm reading, and then like 10 people reply, they're like, that's my favorite book. Like I just made like 10 new friends or 10
But how
new
often does that happen?
Well, no, you'd be surprised.
You know what I mean?
Like even posting like crystals, things like that. Like
Yeah.
but like it doesn't matter what you post. You'll find people who like vibe with you or interested in
you're
the
finding
same
people
things,
that are
right?
going to relate to you based on that stuff, which
whether
is cool.
it's fashion or makeup. Like
now that helps more in business, obviously, because then you're gaining more of a network with clients and stuff like that.
Because I think the problem, more to I guess the personal use, which you can speak to better, is like sometimes I'm like, it's like today I'll think back about a story that I saw this person post a week ago, and I'm like, why is my brain holding this information? Like, do I really need to know what Melissa posted a week ago?
Yes, you do.
No, but you see what I mean? It's not a shot at anybody. It's like Dean ate fucking Kentucky Fried Chicken a week ago.
That's up to you, though. That's up to you.
Who should be using it less than if you.
No, but you think that, but it's the way our brain works. When you're scrolling through the fucking stories,
It doesn't mean hit.
Which, okay, hold on. I know I'm not supposed to ask ladies this, but how old are you all?
25.
25. Cool. 25?
29.
Yeah, so I think that we're all the age that we got to see even pre-technology, right?
Yeah.
We got to see both sides where, okay, if you fucking grew up with it and now you're like 17, like 16, like you're going to be looking at your phone like, I need a lot of validation from this thing because I don't even know what else is out there. I don't even know how to talk to someone.
True.
I don't know how to go up on stage and talk. I can't even do this presentation, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, so the only validation I'm going to get is from this phone now, from this TikTok. So you're going to see a lot more of it actually from the younger generation, which we're seeing it now, right? They're growing up on their phones where I feel like people of our generation, of our ages, are able to be like, wait, like that's too much. Or like, wait, I shouldn't, like, okay, maybe I don't want to post like that anymore.
We were on the bridge of like no social media in high school. And then when I got to college, that's when I started using it.
Yeah.
So I lived all of high school with no Instagram.
But you have that reality too, where it's like, I was outside with my friends, or I was doing this, and I was touching people, I was holding people, I was like talking
knocking on their doors,
knocking on their
calling
doors,
the house phone.
Hey,
Mrs. Smith, can I speak to the? You're like,
where it's like now it's just like everyone has the
like
same
social
habit.
anxiety,
If you don't touch
like-
your phone for like 5 minutes, you're just like
that
this all of a sudden,
generation.
right? You're already just looking at your phone. So Yeah, I think it's actually a blessing. We got to see both sides, all of our ages, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because we had that time where it's like, yeah, there's no phone. Go figure out what you're gonna do. Go talk to someone. You know, like.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the younger generation is in bad shape.
Okay, let me ask Brian a question then
So what's
about
up?
social media. If you had a girlfriend,
Okay.
I don't know if you do,
Nah.
whatever, but if you had a girlfriend, would you be okay with her posting bikini?
Well, I
slash
actually lived that
provocative?
for like about a year. I was dating an LA girl.
Okay.
I remember
And-
that.
LA girl.
Yeah.
Shout out LA girl.
Shout out the LA girl.
Yeah.
or not.
No.
No.
If you're watching this, I'm gonna drop kick you. And Jesus stranded. So I don't mean that.
Okay.
But no, I don't. Right now, from what I've experienced, I wouldn't be okay with it.
Okay. Why
You
not?
post shirtless though all the time.
But it's
hold on.
business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, let him finish,
And the thing
What
is
if
the
it's
way.
business for her?
Facts.
No.
But I wouldn't be with her then.
Oh.
Straight up.
Okay, well you're entitled to that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
but
like,
why not? Yeah, give us the why.
well, from what I've experienced, it definitely was for a certain type of validation from other men. And then if I was a provider, like why do you need to do that? And the thing is like experiencing that world in on the West Coast, like that's what that environment is for. It's chasing the likes, the DMs from the blue check marks,
Yeah.
from these two guys over here. But yeah, it just wasn't healthy in general. Because like I think you can ask any guy, like, would you want your girl to post?
Because your
all
girl
these-
was like in the fitness game too, right?
yeah,
She was doing similar stuff to you.
50-50, yeah.
You're saying she's not as good as you. That's what you're saying, low key.
Yeah, exactly. Not as good as
I had the Gymshark deal, bro. Like,
yeah.
So I guess like from that now moving forward, would you not date someone in your industry?
I would give it a chance, but there's like certain standards that I would kind of follow.
Okay.
Like, are they doing like a certain type of business, or are they actually leveraging it to do like a fitness business?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Dean,
so
I'm
they're
cur-
not just posting shit just for nothing, like just to get.
Yeah,
validation.
there's a
Okay.
line. There's like a
I'm curious on Dean's take.
I got a few takes here. Well, like for anybody who's watching it doesn't know, I frequently photograph models, professional and otherwise, and you can definitely tell when there's a sense of a need for validation, and when there's a sense of let's get these fucking shots. I need to get shots in these kind of clothing so I can maybe land a brand, and they don't give a fuck. They don't answer DMs from creepy dudes. They're not looking for the validation. They're looking for the cash, right? So personally, I would date a woman who was doing it for the cash and really had no interest in how many guys were DMing her or how many likes she was getting, only in terms of a business solution, right? So,
But do you think there's like a fine line of like, let's just say, some like if she's getting like the world is a big place.
Mm-hmm.
If there was like there's fucking 8 billion, 7 billion people on this planet, like. So if she was getting thousands, hundreds of thousands of DMs doing that,
She's
you'd
not
still
safe.
be cool with it.
She's not safe.
that's like a huge like attack vector on the relationship. So you got to be really trusting of the woman
Sure, yeah.
if that's her business, like if she's a fitness influencer or she does other stuff online, you got to be really trusting of the relationship. You got to trust
Yeah.
that. So the further they go into that like hotspot of like where maybe it could be for validation or it could be for business, but there's like more of a danger that it's for validation and that they're gonna find somebody that they're looking for that's better than you or whatever.
you have to be a top G.
You got to be a
Can't
top
let
G.
that
You
slide.
got
Facts,
to
yeah,
have a few
facts.
Or
Bugattis
else
and then you're
it's
good.
skim
You have to
over.
remember too that there's guys out there posting for validation as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Like let me just make that
That
clear.
was gonna be my
Well,
follow
look
up.
at-
She's looking at me right now, guys.
Let me just
I
make
was
that
gonna
clear.
pass it to them to
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
their
Well,
thoughts
Yeah,
on the
my-
woman's side, but then also you can
Yeah.
switch it to like your boyfriend.
Yeah,
as well.
But like it might be a hot take, but yeah, if a girl is doing it, like you said, for cash, she has like her reasons behind it. She's not answering DMs, whatever, and you get mad at the attention she's getting and the DMs and all that. You're now blaming a woman for a man's problem. So that's a problem.
Yes.
You know,
What you
if her
guys, as long
intentions
as
are
they're
Security,
respectful
yeah.
of the relationship, it shouldn't matter
Yeah.
what else is happening because they could walk to a coffee shop and get way more attention in person.
Exactly.
If they
you're
tell
gonna
the
blame
guy,
her for that, you know, it's
please
like
no, I have a boyfriend or I'm in a relationship or don't talk to me. That's the same kind of thing as it happening online, right?
exactly.
That's just insecurity. Yeah.
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 No, it has to be the intention. Like, yeah, back when, you know, I did it for validation. With social media, it ties into business, but it's really community for me, right? So when I was growing, posting the way that I was posting, growing this community of people that I don't really want around. I don't want them on my page in the first place. That's when I started to ask myself, like, you have things to say and you know, it doesn't matter what that follower count is and the likes are if you're not building this like strong community of people that need to hear what you have to say. Yeah. And I realized I wasn't doing that.
For sure.
And you know, it hit me. It was validation.
Yeah, like there's value to us besides just our physical appearance.
Yeah.
And that needs to be broadcasted more.
But we need to broadcast it more, you know, and that's when we realized.
I just think to your point, the message gets skewed, and when a guy, like, again, we're using social media because that's just the topic we're on.
Mm-hmm.
When a guy looks at a social media and the whole grid is half naked photos, but then she's like, hey, but I'm really smart. It's like,
you gotta check the bio.
I don't I'm not saying that's right, but I don't shame the guy.
Check the bio.
I don't shame the guy for having a hard time finding that information when all that's on the timeline is half
I would do the same
photos.
thing.
Well, I think you have to make it clear. Yeah, you have to kind of make it clear too.
And that's my point. But I guess, okay, let's switch it to the other side of, would you be okay with your man posting this guy's content?
Just posting the exact same content.
My
as Brian.
content is valuable, guys.
No, you know what I mean? I don't know. Provocative in whichever way. Super shirtless. He's fucking jacked like this guy. He's ripped. He's shirtless. All these girls commenting, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, would you be cool with that?
I think that goes back to your communication with your partner. Like, you can be dating one guy and something he does like triggers you, but then the next does the same thing and he's so reassuring. Like, it's just a very different dynamic. So I think it just goes like, you know, it's based on like how reassuring they are, like what you think their intentions are. Like it varies so much.
Okay, but would you like it though? Like, yes or no?
There's definitely like times I wouldn't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
She didn't like when I comment on other people's.
We were talking about this the other day. So basically, we were talking about how when he was dating his ex, like he would comment on other
I
girls'
put fire emojis in everyone's
I
photos.
So
Everybody.
he would comment on other people's photos, and we were talking on the phone. And I was like, come to think of it, like I can't believe your ex, like, you know, was okay with that.
She wasn't okay with it.
Just like every photo, like, you know, Brian's
kept
commenting
doing
on
it.
it.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't even look at it like that. Like, it's just a fire emoji. I'm like, it's a fire emoji on every girl's photo. Like, no girl would want that. But then, like, that goes, like, you know, back to
That's actually
communication.
business, though. That's actually
business.
business.
But it goes back to
Same.
communication, right? So
Yeah, like
Yeah. If you say, listen, like when I'm doing this, I'm getting more people to my page. More people are seeing my name.
More DMs.
More people are commenting on my stuff. Now this.
yeah.
If you put it that way and the person still doesn't understand, then that's a tough one to be
right,
in.
like
That's
it's
a tough one
different
to
if
be
they
in.
say that versus like, oh, it's just a fire emoji. But if they explain it
Of
and
course.
their perspective,
But
then-
I'll be honest too. Like even explaining that to someone is hard to even believe. Like unless you know social media, right? And you're like, oh, that like I've done it before. Yeah, commenting on.
But that goes
Yeah,
back to the type of person that
Okay,
you're like
fair.
dating,
Yeah,
right? Like,
you're-
are
yeah.
they like a douchebag or?
And it's like,
Fair.
if you don't like that, like if, you know, he's commenting on all these girls' photos, like I see that from the jump, I'm not going to date
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
If I'm not
Yeah,
interested
yeah.
in
You're
that
no
kind
chance,
of
bro.
business,
Yeah, no
I'm not
chance.
going to like
Zero
try to
chance, yes.
change, you know, this person to
Right.
fit my, you know.
Wants,
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's girls that would be okay with it. So it's
Exactly.
like everyone's allowed to have their own boundaries. Like we would look at that and not be interested, and that's fine. And I don't want to like get a man and be like, you got to change this, and then I'll be happy. It's like,
That's something I wanted to talk. Okay, go ahead. Though.
No,
That's
I'm
something
curious. Well, this will kind of lead into. I think we're probably going the same way. But would you want to live a life where the man, your potential future man, is the provider and you didn't have to work, or do you feel like you still want to, with your potential future partner, want to work and still provide to some extent, or are you cool with being like, yeah, bro, if he wants to like take care of the fucking bills and shit, like I'm good with it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely I want a man as a provider.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that I don't have my own goals and aspirations, and you know, I'm going to work too, but I also, when it's time to have kids, I want to be able to have that option to stay home and raise my kids.
Nice.
Okay.
That's cool.
I think I would definitely still want to work, but would I date 50-50? Probably not. Like,
Never.
yeah. So I don't know. It goes like she said, if you have your own goals and like sometimes you're working just because of the impact you have in the community, not because of the money or anything like that, right? And I think it is important to like have hobbies and have your own thing. Like I wouldn't want to be so heavily reliant on a man, but yeah, would I be 50-50? That I don't know. And it comes back to like, why would you if there's other contenders that have more to offer and things like that?
Yep.
And as women, I think we naturally, you know, take the role of like cooking and cleaning. And that's not everyone, but like for a lot, like that happens naturally.
Nurturers.
yeah.
Nurturers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when a man can come in and be a provider so happily, it changes something within you and a woman. It allows you to like dive into your like feminine nature and
Yeah.
really take care of your man.
You see?
This guy
Dean,
said, see, like I said,
What do you mean you said? I don't disagree with
That's
them.
what I'm saying.
No, we've had this conversation, and sorry, to cut you off, just to add on to that point quickly, and I'll let you continue. Is I've always been of the belief of that if you're alpha enough, and I'm not saying alpha, you come in, you're like, I pay all the bills and you do what I tell you. Like no, like you come in being happy to be like, hey babe,
Masculine.
I want to pay for everything. I want to take care of you. I'll fucking pay the rent. I'll pay everything.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like I think if you do that, like a woman will naturally. Her femininity will come out more, and she will naturally be more submissive.
Yeah.
There's a balance.
But
Who disagreed with
exactly.
that?
No, we've had that argument.
The argument that he brings to me, okay, and he's been in a very great relationship, healthy relationship. I'm jealous of him for it, to be honest, because he always brings it up to the table. And obviously, I'm single, right? I'm single.
I'm kidding.
I've been since my last toxic relationship, so now I'm just single.
Now you're healing.
We're just moving to the. I'm healed. I just don't even want another one. Okay, so
Too healed.
My whole thing was that he said I can go further with a woman.
Yes.
This is the real argument.
Yeah.
You said I
that's
can
my
go
take.
further with a woman and I would be more successful with a woman, right? And I agree to an extent. I agree to the extent of it being the right woman, right? Because if it's the wrong woman, she can actually bring you right
She'll
down.
hold you back, yeah.
100%,
Not
but
just
if-
hold you down, but actually bring you down and bring you
Yeah.
right down.
But if you know your value, like
Yeah.
your worth as a man and what you're bringing to the table, you wouldn't be with a woman like that.
Exactly.
that wouldn't be a
You're not going to
problem.
settle for that. You're not going to
You
settle
would-
for
So
that
then it
woman.
brings us to the next part of the discussion.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
Finding a woman like that is rare.
For sure.
Yeah, but it comes.
But you have-
you,
No,
you attract what's on your frequency.
Of course.
Yeah.
My argument ends when I say it's rare, and then Dean agrees with me.
Hold this, Ernesto.
And then give me what's this one
No,
for?
we
the
need
more
the pink
rare
one.
you
The
think
pink
it
one,
is,
no?
the more rare.
Yeah, that one.
Of course.
So because of those conversations that we've had, he's a big preacher and like, okay, if you're a younger entrepreneur, maybe find yourself a woman and try to build something together, and she can actually push you and support you. Fair.
Yeah.
Agreed. Again, agreed. But from what I see in society, from the people I know, the men I know, the boys I know,
Jeez.
it's not going that route, because a lot of them they'll first of all they'll settle. They'll settle, which is very, very like common.
they'll learn a
I
lesson.
feel.
But they don't know their worth as a man.
How many people do you know that have settled in a relationship where you're like,
You learn,
Well,
learn,
it's
learn.
like
till you
course,
get it.
going
of
to
course.
the
You don't
grocery
learn.
store hungry, right? Like if you're going,
Okay.
like if you're seeking it out of desperation, then you will settle for
So,
anything.
yeah.
I might get
And-
that tatted actually.
I never heard that.
No, but it's true.
Yeah.
And like going back to what you said, like if you were to go and look for it, that is taking away from your career and your goals and all that. Like it is taking away from that versus if it comes, that's a totally different
And
story.
this is what I've been saying, right? And he's just trying to say like, oh, just go
No.
down the street.
Bro, just be an alpha and they'll fall
Is
from
this-
the tree.
This is a
bro.
real argument.
Yes,
Dean?
no. Okay, you're actually closer. My argument is that I'm in agreement of you will attract what you want, but
Yes.
if you also close yourself off completely to like,
Yeah, no.
then it's you're
But-
not even gonna let a potential
Of
like
course.
amazing woman come into
Yeah.
your life if you're like, nah, bro,
No, but there's just-
I can
Yeah.
go farther on my own, bro. It's like no,
Yeah.
it's not. It's not
But
true.
It's just
But
the
there's a-
mentality. Like
Yeah.
I feel like you're a little maybe too aggressive on
Yeah.
the single.
No, I'm
Yes.
not saying
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm really
Yes.
nuts.
Okay, you know why? Because
go.
I've had a lot of success being single.
Yeah.
And you'll have
Straight
a
up.
lot
That's
more
great.
success when you meet a woman
And,
that can
and
tap
I've had a
in.
lot less success when I was in a relationship.
The toxic
that-
one,
When you
like
meet
just
them,
said,
Toxic one, but
No.
again.
Yeah, that's your
It's
experience.
not like she showed up and she had toxic on her forehead, and I was able to tell right off the bat.
But you
I
also
went through an
had way
experience.
less knowledge
Of course.
of life
Less
back
experience.
then
And
than you do now.
I'm preaching this. I'm preaching if you find
And
someone,
standards,
if you
probably.
find someone, then that's that rare person for you that fits and supports you. That's amazing. What I'm telling men out there is don't get caught up in settling just because, let's say, your friends are or your parents
that's a
tell
fact.
you to,
Yeah, that's a
right?
fact.
Because
For sure.
because you'll think it's the right thing, and then down the line, how many people we know after an 8-year relationship,
fucked.
9-year, they're done like this,
Yeah.
and you're just like, wait, how? Right? And it's like that's the part where I'm saying, you know what? Sometimes it is good to be alone as well.
Yeah.
Which
Oh, yeah.
which was good for me, right? I was one of those guys. I was in a relationship, got out, in a relationship, got out, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is not working. Let me just chill for a bit.
Right.
And those have been, I'm not gonna say forever, but those have been the most successful years of my life. So that's why I'm preaching that. I agree with him. I just think it's like to find what he found is hard. It's not impossible.
But
it's
when
harder.
things are hard, that's how you know the reward is greater.
Yes,
Why do you hop into a fucking cold tub every day at 6 a.m.? Because it's hard as fuck.
Fucking crackhead.
It's hard as
punch
shit.
gang.
It's hard as shit. But when you come out of it, the rewards are high. So again, not saying to go run out and look for it. I like the analogy that you. What was it? Say it again.
Grocery store hungry. You don't
go to the. If you go to the grocery store hungry, you're probably okay. So. I agree with that, but you can't completely close it off, and that's what I'm saying. And I'm just of the belief that if you find a good woman who supports what you do, which is not going to be easy,
of course,
but if you find it, it can actually it can propel you to a level that you probably, I'm not going to say 100% could never get to, but probably would have a harder time getting to.
Which I agree with.
Okay, good. Okay, good. All right, Dean.
Sorry.
No. Yeah, go ahead. I'm just gonna talk shit.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of peace in being single and focusing on yourself. And, being open to it doesn't mean you're, searching and you're on dating apps. Like, it's just you're open to whatever comes. But my focus is evolving and getting to a place where I can attract a man that is on my frequency.
Yes.
And I don't want to attract someone, maybe I would have last year,
yes, sure.
Because I was attracting toxic because I was myself toxic. Yeah. You can't blame everyone else in your reality of, there's not that many people, that everyone's toxic. It's like, you're not blaming everyone else. Like, if that's what you have in your reality, then like a part of you is toxic.
Shit. No, for sure I was toxic too.
Who's the most toxic
in that relationship? 100%. But it's also environment too. Like, I think that's huge. And I was in nightlife. Like,
you can't be living on
that's
Queen
where we were out all the time, right? And like, that's like, and I feel like so many people that come out of nightlife or like have done it a lot or worked in the industry, they come out and they do a 180 and all of a sudden they're fucking kumbaya like all of us right now. Like, you know what I mean? So I think environment's huge too. And maybe that's the thing too. Like, we're not really in one environment at all. Like, like we switch environments.
We move around
so
all
much.
the time just for the nature of the job.
And that's also a thing too. I'm not really like, I haven't really been open to it. It's not like I'm down to like go on fucking Tinder and start connecting with people, but I also haven't really been open to it.
No, but
it'll come to you when it's meant to.
Yeah, and like when you find someone not in a broken place or trying to like rebound, or you know what I mean? Like when you are both very happy with being single and working on yourselves and you meet then, game changer.
Yeah,
Game
facts.
over.
Both people have to be
Over.
happy to come together and be fucking happy.
You can heal together, but when you meet someone and you're in a really good place and you're so happy with your single life that you're like, you need to make my life better if I'm gonna like allow you in.
Yes.
Two people like that, game over.
Yeah. You're probably floating. You're fucking floating.
Dean's
in
in
midair.
shock right now. He's like, oh fuck.
I'm not sure.
No.
what I needed.
I want to use this to transition into the topic that usually slides right in after this one is men in today's society, because we have many opinions on our breed. But I want to hear. I want to hear your opinions on it. I think there's that men are a little more feminine these days than they used to be. They're not as alpha. Men aren't necessarily like. I don't know. I think when you like, just this is a stupid example, but like I always thought that like you go out, like the man's got to pay the bill. Like that was always my thought. Like I've always been of the belief of like, you get into a relationship, you move into somewhere, like the man pays the fucking rent, the man or whatever, the mortgage. So I'm curious, from your experiences, what do you find is the majority of men today? Like, how do you see a lot of alphas guys? You're like, oh shit, okay, I fuck with him, or is it not as many, or like what's your take on it?
I think you find what you're looking for. So if you sit here and you're like, all men are cheaters, like you're going to find cheaters. You're going to be attracted to that type. If you sit here, you're like, all men are trash. Like you're going to come across that time and time again. But if you're like, you know what, like there are some really nice guys out there, like then you'll start to be attracted to that more and more. And you'll put yourself, I guess, in those environments too, where you're seeing like different types of people. Like maybe you're not finding your husband at the club.
That's ideal.
Right? But so that's the way I look at it. I mean, I think there's like a diverse mix in society for sure. Like I wouldn't say there's like one more than the other.
I think the problem with men that you maybe consider more feminine is like, for me, a real man understands the value of a woman, truly understands like how that is going to up-level his life. versus a man who's like, what do you bring to the table? How do you not know?
Yeah.
Are you serious? How do you not know the magic?
Very good
The
question.
magic of a woman in your life.
Yeah.
How do you not know that?
I hear that.
I'm not for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
And so I understand there's these men out there, but not in my reality.
Yeah. Sorry. I should make a point. When I say feminine, I'm not saying like they're fucking wearing dresses and shit. I'm just saying like they don't have that.
Like not
They wanna be
provider energy.
chased.
Yeah, they don't have that dog in them, you know?
Yeah.
Bro, show him the dog.
They don't have that dog in them, you know?
Take that shirt off. Take that shirt off, bro.
Rachel, what's your thoughts on him?
Yeah, there has to be a balance, in having, your masculine and your feminine. Like there's a balance in it. And a lot of men live in their femininity. It's like they want to be provided for. Like they want a woman that's going to
be
pay for
chased,
their. They want to be chased. Like
Yeah.
Have you ever had that like kind of relationship with a guy that?
Yes.
totally.
I think there's beauty in the chase. I think that's like the
No, I'm
beautiful.
saying like the provider part. Like, have you ever had a guy be like, "Yo, let's split this bill"?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
dust.
I've had a man say, you got this?
That's what.
Well, like you got this,
That's
or
one of
like
those
you got
dust
this.
things.
Like he told you, or he asked you.
No,
They're
I was like,
both
he's like,
wrong.
you got this, right? I was like,
That's so embarrassing.
crazy.
Aren't you
Yeah, for
embarrassed
sure.
as a man to do that?
But it put me, I had a relationship like this. It
Okay.
lasted way
It
longer
made
than
you
it should
masculine.
have. But it put me so deep in my masculine.
Mm.
I was the provider. I was doing everything. Like if I wanted to go on a date, it was like, nah, because I don't want to pay for that. So then I would be like, well, I want to go on a date. So I'm going to pay for it or whatever. And that just knocked me out so much of like my power as a woman. It really, and I feel like there's this like narrative that like, boss babe and whatever, and that's great. But if you are too deep in your masculine, like you are just not tapped into your inner guidance, that intuition that you naturally have as a woman, you're not tapped in, and you're missing out on that. It's a superpower. When you get to tap into that, your life changes completely. And if you're with a feminine man and you're in your masculine, you're just not going to tap into that. You're not in their environment to tap into that.
Yeah, I am 100%. I 100% agree with that. I think that their roles have been changed a lot recently, and I think that going back to what I was saying earlier, like if a man brings the right energy to the relationship, the woman will automatically, out of nature, the feminine side will come out of her. That nurturing, like, something bad happens in business, bad business deal, and she's like, babe, don't worry, like everything's gonna be good. Like you'll figure this out. You always do. And I feel like that goes back to the beauty of having a woman, right?
Yeah.
Who understands it. But yeah, I agree. I just think guys these days aren't. Or I actually think we're slowly trying to turn the dial a bit, and guys are trying to be like, okay, fuck, I gotta like step it up here. I'm acting like a fucking pussy a little bit. But
Standards
yeah, they're switching. But what's your thoughts, bro?
for,
Just dudes these days.
I mean, I don't know, Mel. What do you think?
I hate to admit it, but
What
I
do you
feel
think
like
I am?
I hate to admit it, but I feel like the Andrew Tate movement like created a little bit of a shift there. Like there were I just noticed this personally, like there were so many men who were like down to be 50-50, and then Andrew Tate kind of came into the picture and said, if you can't even do that, like you're useless in a sense, right?
Yeah.
So
Don't hate it. Don't hate it. I know you're saying I hate that I'm saying this.
for it.
You know,
Don't hate it.
Yeah.
Don't
you know
hate
what
it.
came from that? The fact that there's not enough men, like role models out there
Right.
for
Yeah.
young men.
Big time.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
really showed, to be
Yeah.
honest,
Yeah.
because
That's why Top
no
G
one
went-
gets that much attention from a
Yeah.
message
Yeah.
that people don't
Right.
believe.
Yeah.
Now he said some shit. Obviously, that he's gonna say some shit that's up for debate to a lot of people.
yeah.
Yeah, he's not like a total inspiration.
But I think there's a void there where it's like all these young men that they don't want to just like look up to Harry Styles. They're like, okay, I'm feeling like a little bit more of a man here. Like, who should I look up to? What are my options? And you're looking, and it's like, who's the fucking options?
Yeah.
And then Andrew Tate came in. I'm the option.
Right.
But now you're seeing younger guys come out and do it. But so I think there was a void there for young men to like look up to and say like, like what am I supposed to do as a man?
Yeah,
Right.
men need to
You
be
know?
reminded, just like
Yeah.
we have to be reminded of tapping into our superpower.
Yeah.
There's that for men too, and you're right. If there's not the role model there, or you don't have that maybe father figure that taught you that, you're not going to know
Yeah.
what you're missing
Yeah.
or how you. I don't know what
You know
to
what I
say should be,
noticed,
but
though?
How you
Like,
should act. Yeah.
You
a
know?
lot of my male friends, they've decided to prioritize themselves to become that man before getting into something. So
Which is good.
yeah,
That's
'cause
fine.
sometimes you don't realize
you're just
that.
saying I want to be a stronger person by
Yeah.
the time I connect with someone on that level, which
Yeah.
I respect that too, because as much as you can heal together too, you don't want to be in a position where it's like you're a weak man and then you get into a relationship and then, oh shit, my bad, I forgot to tell you I'm weak. Give me some time. I'm just finishing Andrew Tate's course. Like I'll be good in 2 months, right? Like, so I think there was that missing void. I think in terms of even females, like who do you guys look up to as role models as like a strong female? Because I'm interested in that too, like to hear if there's anyone.
Everyone's looking at
I'm
me.
like, myself.
Anyone really? Like I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I work for Night Swim, and my boss, Gabby Cheyenne, I've been looking up to her since I was like 15 years old.
Oh.
She's a great inspiration. Hitomi on YouTube. Oh my God. I cry watching her YouTube videos. Like she's just such a deep reminder of, our nature as women and, just how to tap into that. She's such an inspiration.
And even just women in our community, like
True.
I go for Reiki and like my Reiki master, Higher Self Healing, she is incredible and someone that I look up to personally. Just seeing her growth and evolution, and that's what I aspire to be.
Yeah, good point. It doesn't really have to be like a celebrity or.
Yeah. No, it's really the women we surround ourselves with.
Totally.
Like our crew and the women that we talk to every single day, like I look up to my friends, and I keep my friends at a very high standard. Like I need to be extremely proud of you to call you my friend. And if I'm not proud of the person that you are, it's really hard for me to tap into like a deep friendship.
I was just going to say, sometimes it's your own friends. Like for instance, like being someone who was in like a ton of toxic relationships, seeing Sky and her healthy relationship, like, that makes you desire that, and it's proving to you that like it exists,
So a lot of people don't have those examples too, like coming from broken homes, and it's like, what do you even look up to? You don't even know that it exists.
True.
And then like, starting to meet people that, oh wow, you had parents that like loved each other, and like seeing this, it's like, it's amazing to have, and you want to keep yourself around people that are in healthy relationships and that are capable of doing that.
Yeah, a lot of the way you move and the things you do comes from how you were raised, right? And I think there's just been I don't even know that. Dean, what's the rate of divorces these days? It's like hella
50,
high.
No, it's over
50.
50. It's over.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? So I just
went
think,
over now.
Prenup.
We're going up.
People just to marry, like just because it's what
Well,
you're
even going
supposed
back
to do.
to what I was saying, like the settling thing, like that just goes to show how many people had settled. Like now there's gonna be a percentage where shit happens, whatever, blah blah blah. But like, how many people settled? Where it's like, it's scary. That's a scary stat to see, right? Especially if you have experience with divorce some sort of way in your family. You're just like,
but I'm curious, like rolling off of that and the settling and that whole thing is like, do you ladies want children one day?
Definitely. I know it's, a timing thing too. It's like, you want to, get married at a certain age, but it's also like, I don't want to rush that process if I'm going to rush into it and be with someone that's not at the level that I want them to be. I want to heal myself to be at a certain, level that I'm attracting a certain type of man.
But let's, okay, which I hear you, but let's talk more on the like, women are on a clock essentially. Guys can just bust nuts all day. You can whatever. Like so, we're lucky on that end where women don't have that, right? So like, does that ever come to mind? I'm always curious to ask. Like, do you ever think like, fuck, like my time is winding down? And not to say that there's women who are 40 years old have kids, right? But I think the percentage gets drastically less when you hit 30. I read some stat. I don't know the exact stat. So does that ever scare you in a way, like to think about that?
Yeah, I mean, my mom was 23. My dad was 27, so I'm 25. So that's like me having a 2-year-old. Yeah, that's insane to think about.
For sure.
But I can't tap into wanting a child right now. I definitely want kids. So I guess like personally, like I'm just waiting for that to kick in. I don't know if it just hits you. At a certain age, but it's like I loved having young parents so much.
That's always the thing I think
so
about.
much, and then there is a little bit of guilt attached to, well, am I going to be able to run around with my kids and do all these things that I got to have when I was a kid? So I do think of that.
Okay.
Definitely. I know I'm young, but I do think of that.
Yeah.
I think being 25, like it's something that comes up a lot. Like all my friends, like so many of my friends are getting married right now. Some of them have kids, some of them are pregnant. Like, you know, it's the age. I personally don't have that at all, just because like my mom had me at 37. I don't see the rush necessarily. I do know that there's like a bio clock, like absolutely. But the way I view it is like, I know 23-year-olds who can't conceive, 25-year-olds who can't have kids. And then there's like 35-year-olds, 37-year-olds who are having kids, right? Like I kind of just look at it as like, you know, God's plan a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how I view it. And to her point, like why would I want to rush it and do it with the wrong person? And then that's like 18-year commitment.
Yeah,
right?
Big
yeah.
commitment.
I think it's just one of those
Lifelong
things when you
commitment.
know. Like
Yeah.
it's just like one of those. Like okay, this is the person. Now I'm getting baby fever. It's fucking-
Right. And that's
Yeah.
true. Like I know so many women who were like even family members, they're like, I don't want kids. And then, you know, they fall into this relationship and they want like 5.
Yeah.
So I think like the right person can bring that out of you. Absolutely.
Agreed.
Yeah. Like I've struggled with that, you know, like being 29 and not being in a relationship. It's like, oh my God, when is it going to happen? But it's like, you have to let that go and focus on you and trust in divine timing that it is all going to work out for me. If I'm sitting here in this like desperate energy, it's not going to happen.
You're pushing it away.
You're pushing it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm in agreement. I always just wonder from the female perspective because I know you have a bio clock to some extent.
Yeah.
I'm not. I
I
don't.
think
I don't know.
Brian's got a
fucking-
bio clock too over there.
I'm open to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready to
down?
have a baby?
Yeah, for sure. When the time's right.
Oh no, I meant like right now.
Oh no,
No.
Wait, Brian, how old are you again?
27, 95.
You almost didn't even know.
Yeah, I'm like,
Question.
Your kid's gonna be jacked though.
yeah.
Well, you said
trend.
2030 agenda, no?
Yeah, like what's that? 7 years?
Yeah, you got 7 years.
I'm 29 now.
on the agenda.
Trying, baby.
So I said 7 years. Again, like I don't know what's gonna happen. Same answer
But
as
that's
Rachel.
the fun of it all. Like you don't know what's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
It's
Just
different. I'm not in a
trusting.
relationship or anything, so it's not like I could say like in the next few years, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
But even
it's
if
tough.
you were in a relationship, you don't know.
I probably still
Yeah.
wouldn't say it. Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like I've had some friends say to me, like, "Oh, like how do you feel? Like all your friends are getting married." I'm like, you could get married. It doesn't mean you're happier necessarily. Like you could get
True.
married at 25. You know, buy that house, like get the dog, have the kids, like have the white picketed fence, all that, and then you could be like 40, single mom, divorced. Like there's no perfect timeline, you know. Whereas you could be 40, meet someone, but it's like the love of your life. You're traveling, like you're so happy, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's like one thing that you need to follow.
You said your mom had you at 37.
Yeah, like I do have an older brother, so
Okay.
she did like have kids younger, but like I'm fine. She only had 37, you know. So
If you don't mind me asking, are your parents together?
well, no, not the
Okay.
one that not my bio father, but he passed and stuff, and so I have a
Okay,
stepdad.
okay.
But
Okay. Okay. No, I was just curious. Like
yeah,
37. So you and your older brother, is he much older than you?
yeah, like 10, 11 years.
Okay.
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 Which like I would not want to do that. Like when I have kids one day, I want
Yeah.
them to be closer in age.
Yeah, just
but,
get the job done.
Yeah.
Get it
Get the
out.
job done 100%. No, I hear
Be
you.
pregnant for a good 3 years in a row and then never again.
Yeah.
So you guys have all been on your self journey,
Self-healing journey.
inner healing.
Yes.
I
It's
love
a
it.
lifetime thing.
So
It never ends.
Yeah.
so
never
what's
ending
what's a big lesson that you think you've learned in the last few years that you could probably say and it'd be advice for maybe a younger woman out there?
I'm like,
Brian, not you, bro. I mean, we could do you too if you want.
That's so good. I know. I want to really think about something that has truly like changed. I guess
Even talking to your younger self too, like same kind
yeah,
of thing. Just
shadow,
someone younger.
shadow work definitely really helped. Taking accountability for your life and the ways that you were the villain, understanding, sitting with your emotions and not wanting to like grab your phone or grab a drink or grab a cigarette. Like sit with your emotions and really feel them through, because once you do that, guess what? They fucking leave. They finally leave. And so stop suppressing everything that hurts on the inside, because you're putting it down. It's going to stay there. I guess just like, yeah, taking accountability for everything in my life, questioning everything. And, you know, when you do this hard work that is sometimes like, why am I taking this path? Like, why am I doing this? This is so hard. Shadow work is so hard. Like looking back at your younger self and ways that you were hurt and how that's still affecting you now, that's really hard to do that. And so I think what's kept me going is you just, you know, you do the work, you're in this tough place, and almost like snapping your fingers, you just get to wake up one day and be this new version of yourself. It kind of just, it happens overnight. You know, you do the work, but you just wake up and you're like, I'm this person and this is my reality. Yeah, and so when you change that like inner world, it changes your outer world completely. Like that has been the biggest thing that I have manifested this year is my reality, my mindset, how I look at things, how I just get to wake up and like genuinely be happy. You know,
that's nice.
You made a good point. Accountability. I think when you take accountability,
it sets you free.
Yeah, facts.
Like,
so for the ways you've acted, the things you've done, the way you've done people dirty, because no one's fucking slate is clean. I think the accountability thing is number 100%. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And question everything. I like that.
Why do I want this? Oh, I want to buy this new car. Why? Really sit with it. Like, where is this coming from? Is this like what are my intentions with my life and how I'm spending it and the people in my life? Like, why? Yeah. Question everything.
I agree.
The accountability thing kind of goes into like what I would tell my younger self, which is like, you have so much more control over the outcome of your life than you think. Like, you don't have to coast through life and be miserable or just accept certain things. Like, you really can go out and create your own life. And, you know, you're accountable for, like, instead of complaining about men, like, be accountable for the types of men you're choosing. When you're complaining about money, be accountable for your daily habits, your morning routine, your night routine, like, where you put yourself. So you have so much more control over, like, you know, the reality that you're living.
Agreed.
Yeah, all about evolving. I've changed a lot in the last 2 years, and it all came from self-work, and it changed my outer reality completely. And people don't even recognize me anymore, you know? And I love that. I love that I'm a new version of myself all the time, constantly growing, constantly learning. And I can't believe how much like I didn't know before, or I just wouldn't listen. And, you know, when you sit back and you again, like confront those scary parts of you, and you learn to balance your mind, body, and spirit and with, you know, movement. Like, I've been practicing yoga every day, and I can't believe just with that, just releasing, I mean, I do it with intention, you know, I'm releasing any blockages I have in my body, and, you know, also doing energy work, you know, Reiki, and releasing those blockages in my body and having a flow of everything. I'm more in tune with my intuition and my inner wisdom. That's just like, I'm figuring out what I want. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do for my career for so long. And all of a sudden I asked and it came to me, and I was like, holy shit, like, how did I not know this? And it just, to me, it was like, you know what? I really did the work, and I'm getting the answers. Like, you know,
here it is. It just feels like finally coming home. Like, I've never felt more comfortable in this body and in my mind. It's almost like this remembrance of who I've been. I feel more connected to who I was when I was a kid more than ever. It's like, you know, I went through a long time of just completely losing myself, and you don't know what you want. You don't know like what motivates you. You don't know anything because you're not tapped into yourself. You don't really even know yourself.
Shout out Instagram for that. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, get lost in the fucking sauce.
Lost in the sauce.
No, that's what happens.
You gotta stay dedicated to the game. Don't get lost in the sauce.
Okay, Brian, some advice from you though too. Come on, you're jacked. Give us something
For myself?
like
For your younger self.
For your younger self, like something that you you know, you learned in a dark time, or something you experienced that helped you out.
Set boundaries, essentially.
That's
right?
huge.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be a yes man. Don't simp.
Don't say.
Split the bill if you're not dating them.
You're talking You're talking about strictly relationships right now?
Yeah,
like
I think
set
so.
boundaries and stuff like
Yeah.
that? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
But that doesn't have
Even
to be
in
like
life too,
yeah.
though, like your friends and
Yeah,
stuff.
all
Like, you start to
relationships.
recognize who's there for you, or, you know, who's there kind of like using you and stuff like that. But
Because you're giving them some of your energy. So it's like, is there an equal exchange, or am I just
Facts.
giving? And when you set those boundaries, you realize, wow, it's been me.
I've been giving this whole time.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get
and
nothing
you can't
from you.
care. You can't care about how other people are gonna feel, and just, you know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree
being a
with
yes
that.
man. Like,
I agree with that.
comes
I
with
think
time.
it's night. I think if you are in nightlife and you come out alive, You stop giving a fuck about everything. I swear to God.
Yeah.
It must be
The nightlife changes us, you know.
Yeah.
We're grateful for it, you know.
Grateful.
Same, for
like
sure.
look at the
Grateful.
connections, like
Same.
right here, you know,
Yeah.
like.
I
And I'm
gotta
happy
say-
we made it
We
out of
wouldn't
it.
be
Yeah, of
here if
course.
it wasn't
Barely, we
for-
barely made it
barely
out.
came out alive, but
Shout out COVID-19 for that.
100%.
Straight
That's
up.
the thing though, when you like evolve and you become a different person and like people fall off because like they're not aligned with who you are anymore. People who are also evolving, like you've realigned frequencies, you know. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you like rate each other like,
Very
I
Yeah.
see you. It's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I know what you're doing. I'm doing the same thing. Like,
But you
Yeah.
got to be constantly growing because, you know,
Facts, yeah.
we're besties, but, you know, if I stop growing and she continues and I'm starting to pull out like these toxic parts of her, why is she going to want to hang around me? And like,
yeah.
I have
Keep
to
your friends
also-
accountable.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
be like, you know what? Like, let me step aside and do my own self-work because
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person.
yeah. I hear
Yeah.
you.
I feel like, okay, this is just way off now. We all got really nice there. Everything's really
Yeah, that
nice.
was nice.
Okay, let's
Okay.
get mean again.
Let me just
Yeah.
ask
Let's
something. I
get
have a
fucking
question.
mean
Let's get
again.
angry.
From my experience of like being in a relationship with a woman or knowing different women, I always find that like they don't have that many real friends around them compared to like a guy. Maybe guys are different because we're just like
Wait, you think men have more?
Connect more than women?
I would
more
say
good
like
friends?
I would say they have a bigger friend group.
Yeah, but are they
But are
real
they,
friends
like,
that are
deep-
holding you accountable?
Deep connection?
No, I don't think
Yeah.
it's like that.
Okay.
And I think that's the reason why they have more.
Yes,
So maybe
I agree.
Sorry,
Does
should
that
have
make
let you
sense?
finish.
No, it's all good. I just don't like. I think like
We'll grow you if you have.
I think
if you
guys
have
don't
to.
really connect on that sort of like they're not going to sit down and really,
100%.
like most of them, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that's the reason why maybe you'll look at him and be like, oh shit, this guy has like fucking 50 friends and I have 5, but you're saying
Mine-
it's because you guys are just more connected
Yeah,
and
mine
Yeah.
are deep, like really deep. You
so
know?
if someone tries to come in your circle and you're like, just
I
like,
can't have surface
fuck
level
outta here.
friends.
No.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna have these connections of like let's do this, let's do that. No, I'm spending my time with the people like closest in my life that I have deep relationships with,
Yeah.
and when I leave, I feel high.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
leave
yeah.
that interaction, I feel high. I
'Cause you're
don't
on the
feel like,
same-
oh, I
you're
just
on
have to
the
put a
same
mask
frequency,
on
yeah.
and like had to
Filling
entertain
each
these
other's
people.
cups.
And
But you had to
yeah.
learn that too, right? Like it's like I feel like you had to learn that throughout
Yes.
the last whatever decade, let's say, of I guess being like, okay, I don't need 20 girlfriends.
Yeah. Well, I also know how much energy I put into my friends,
Yeah.
and I need to get that back, or I'm going to deplete myself.
Okay, you're right. See, this is why I needed you guys on the pod because I was gonna come in and just say guys have more friends than girls. See, and he would have
Well-
just agreed with me, like that's true, fam. And then we would have moved on. But no.
I don't know. Like that's not my experience. Like I've always had like way more friends like than the men I was dating. But I'm also like in sales, really social, like outgoing.
But I'm saying like close friends.
I have a lot of really
Yeah?
close friends.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have a different experience.
It's your
but-
environment. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's also why like men aren't evolving at a faster pace because they have so many surface level friends and no one's really talking like, what are your traumas, bro?
No,
like,
they're not.
let's-
Yeah,
That's
I don't
not
know
a-
how does
that's
that
not a
make you
chat.
feel?
Maybe as
Yeah.
you get older, like maybe like as you get older, but yeah, when you're like early 20s and shit, ain't nobody
I
talking
mean,
about that
that's,
shit.
that's normal too with
Yeah.
women, but I think we have a lot like, well,
I
we have
wouldn't
different-
guys go-
say
you
though.
go
I wouldn't
deeper.
say
We go
that women
deeper.
are evolving faster than men.
It
Though.
gets deeper for us later, though.
It gets
I think.
because we're forced
Yeah.
to. We're like,
Yeah.
oh
I
agree with
shit.
that.
It's-
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, because you made a point there. You said that's why we're not evolving at the same rate. I wouldn't. No, I'm just saying I wouldn't fully agree with that statement. I think it's just very individual.
Well,
I
I
don't know
mean,
if it's
looking
an
at
age thing, though.
society,
It's
like,
Depends,
who are
too,
we
I don't
afraid of? We're all afraid of men. So, like, really, like,
I don't not see. Like I disagree.
Now it changed
okay,
for me.
but,
I disagree.
but if you see, you know, like a woman on the street, no one gives a fuck. You see a man on the street and it's dark, like,
Yeah.
is he gonna rob me as a man? Like, you're afraid he's gonna rob me, and we're afraid we're gonna get murdered or raped. Like,
Can I play the
Yeah.
Uno reverso card? You
Yeah,
see a
thank
homeless
you.
man, nobody gives a fuck. You see a homeless woman, more likely to donate? Just a question. I'm
Homeless
just
women
asking.
can be
Sure, but
scary
I'm-
too.
What's
Is
that?
Are you saying homeless?
I'm saying,
The
do you
willing to
think
do
that
it.
men are basically their feelings and their needs are traditionally put aside? Like what? I'm sure
Yeah.
all of
Yes,
you
yeah,
would probably
yeah,
say
yes,
green
yes.
flag to this, but traditionally, men in therapy, green flag. You're going to date them?
totally.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think that slowly changed, or do you think 25 years ago you asked your mother
No,
when
you
she was
can't do
dating your
that.
father,
Yeah, yeah.
if dad was in therapy when you met him, would you have thought lesser of him, or what would you have thought of him?
Yeah, because we weren't really educated on like therapy and talking and how amazing that is for us.
Right.
It was more like
And-
there's something really wrong with you if you're going to therapy. Like back in
Yeah.
our
That's
parents'
true.
day,
Yeah.
you know?
I was just gonna say, I think it's a generation thing. Like my
Yeah.
mom would be like, "Why are you doing therapy?" Like, you know, like it's an age thing in that regard.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like men versus women. It's more like a generation thing. Like I feel like you all would be like open to therapy, no?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it-
Jersey
My-
has a
my
therapist, no?
therapist.
That's
Yeah.
confirmed, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting a therapist.
I have mixed feelings
maybe
about
I'll help
therapy.
This is your therapy, no?
Yeah, this is therapy.
This is my therapy right now.
I have mixed feelings about therapy. I think the person in front of you. Here's my. I'll give you the. I know there's a lot of good things, but I'll speak to the things I
But
think
you're
could be
speaking
bad
about with
you.
a therapist, like
Yeah,
therapy
like
with a
I'm
therapist.
talking about
Okay.
like actually going to a therapist. Is that what we're talking about? I think.
Yeah.
Here's where things can get sticky. The person in front of you is also just another human.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
If they've had horrible experiences and you're talking about an experience that they've can align with and their experience has only been bad, they
Yeah,
might
they're
give
gonna
you
project.
bad.
It'll be biased.
Yeah, they're gonna give you biased information, and so I think the thing about therapy is you got to be very careful, and I think you got to test different therapists.
100%.
I've never done it. I'm
100%.
from the outside, just like speaking on what I think, because we're all human. So if you're sitting in front of another human looking for the fucking answers to your life, it's like, well, first of all, therapy's not really for that, but at the same time, if they're jaded from a past experience, they might like put that onto you, right? So I'm that's what makes me iffy about it, because I from what I imagine, I don't think people are testing a bunch of different therapists. I think they
Right.
just go to the
Yeah.
first one. They're like, oh, it felt great to get that off my chest. He or she agreed with everything I said or said this, and I knew, and it was like, okay, but if they're just agreeing with you or whatever, is that actually what you needed to hear?
But even if it's a really good therapist, still, it's just talk therapy. It's
Yeah.
it's just
Just
dealing with
speaking.
one thing.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
think I would definitely take Reiki over traditional therapy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like getting your mind, body, and soul.
Yeah.
Who's done Reiki
aligned.
here?
I never done
Yeah.
it.
I don't think I've done it.
No. I know they fucking put the hands
You
over
gotta
the
bring a-
head.
you gotta
thing.
bring a
I seen
Reiki
some
healer
shit, but I don't know
around.
what the
We're gonna
fuck
do
it
that
is
next
straight
time.
up. Yeah, we'll have to do a fucking Reiki session.
Ceremony.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but further back to the point of the whole like we're afraid of men thing.
Sorry, can I just say, I don't mean to like put men down. It's the patriarchy and we all suffer under it. So, I don't want to make it like men are horrible.
No,
and
wait,
they're
wait.
worse than
Men are
us. Like, I don't
scary.
need
Yeah.
that.
You're just
It's
saying like you're.
But you're
If
speaking
you see
more-
one in an alleyway, that's how you said
I mean,
it.
like, I'm
Like,
gonna
yeah,
be,
no shit.
a lot of times I'm scared for my life.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, but
Of course,
exactly.
And
that-
you also live in Toronto, so like,
I think
It's fucked up here.
I think for just to add on to what Dean had said earlier is that I think for generations, and I'll even say millennials at this time, millenniums, whatever it is, Dean?
Millennials.
No, not like millennials, like the people like millenniums, like
Okay, yeah.
years, whatever many
Millennia,
fucking
yeah.
years that is. Men have been overlooked. We've been pushed to the side
Yes.
in everything.
Okay.
Emotionally.
Emotionally.
Emotionally,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Emotionally, for sure.
Yeah.
But everything. It's like when war happens, we send men to the front of the fucking line, and all the women and the children sit back, right? Which I agree with. Hey,
Yeah, I was
I'm-
gonna-
I'm
what were
for
you
it.
gonna
argue with
say?
that one.
What were you
I'm
gonna
for
say?
it. No, I'm for it. But what I'm saying is that men go through different life experiences than women. So
Yeah.
to say that we're not progressing in a certain thing, as well as like there was a whole period of time where we went through 2 world wars
Yeah.
that men didn't have a chance to
It's a
worry
lot
about
of
anything else.
trauma.
But am I gonna be alive tomorrow morning?
Well,
You
and
know
that's
what I mean?
why like men have so much trauma. They hold so much trauma.
Yeah,
and
I
because
agree with that, yeah.
They can't talk about it and they're not allowed to be emotional. It sets all of us back.
But
Because
I
then
think
we
there's
have
a
a bunch of
fine
men that are
line.
unhealed.
There's a fine line between tapping into your emotions, but then acting like a fucking woman after. My opinion, like there's a fine line, because then you go too deep into your feminine
Yeah,
side.
there's a balance.
There's a balance. You got to
Yeah.
learn how to balance it. But men, I
Yeah.
think we're trying. We're out here searching. Some of us.
Yeah.
Not all of
And
us,
those are the
some of
people
us.
that we want to surround ourselves with. You
For
know,
sure.
like
It reminds you that they
But the thing is,
exist.
the other ones, maybe they just need help.
No,
maybe,
when I
maybe some
healed-
men just need a
Yeah.
fucking talking to.
Yeah.
They just gotta
Yeah.
listen to this podcast and say, "Damn, okay, all right." There
We
is
love
hope
you,
for me.
man.
There is hope for me.
Yeah,
right?
when I
Totally.
healed my I hate men era,
Mm-hmm.
just because of my own experiences of how men have treated me, like that made me hate all men and think of men in this way. When I healed that, I was finally able to see how much men are hurting. and how much love men need. And we need to love our men more, and we need to help heal our men.
Yeah.
Men have so much trauma. And I was able to see that and have compassion for that and just want to help in any way I can. I don't like look down on men. I just see very hurting people. That's what I see. You know?
Yeah. You hear that, Jay? If you need a hug, just let us know. Eh?
Jay, what do you need?
Just let us know.
You want a therapist? We got it. Say less.
Okay, where are we at, Dean?
Just shy of 2 hours.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
We're killing it.
Okay. I think we gotta just run it back, to be honest.
Yeah, we're gonna run. We have to do part 2.
Okay.
does that mean?
Well, I mean, we'll do it. We'll do this.
We're gonna
again.
do this all again.
This is great.
Okay, we usually end it with like asking if you think money buys happiness. We actually started this episode with that.
Yeah.
So we
I
won't.
like that you started with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Get in there.
won't. So we won't ask that question again. I'm just gonna do my little outro and then I'm gonna say thank you, guys. If you made this far, we love you. Thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Subscribe. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you guys want to see more of these. I had a great time. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
this
Thanks for
was
having us.
amazing.
No, first of all, thank you, ladies, for coming on,
Thank you.
openly chatting
Thank
with
you.
us, giving
Yep.
us some insight into your lives, your opinions, your thoughts. I think that's good. I think our male-dominated audience needs a little bit of this.
Yep.
We're helping the community.
Yes. They've been asking for it, so we thought we'd give it to them. But yeah, seriously, appreciate you guys taking your time on a Friday
Thank you.
evening to come and sit with us. It means a lot.
Brad, you
Thank
too,
you so much.
Come on, bro.
Brian,
Sitting beside you.
Can I get there? Can I get there? Brian, thank you for sitting with us.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank
It
you.
was a pleasure. We will definitely have you back. We got to do this one more time at least.
Yeah, we will.
But on that
Spicier
note,
topics.
We pick the topics. No?
yeah.
yeah, no, next time, fine. Next time you guys come
We
with
told
us.
you guys to bring topics.
They're like, bro, we're not doing no homework. All right. Okay.
Mary Day kill.
Mary, no. Okay, no. Anyways, on that note, thank you once again. Appreciate it. And Dean?
We out.